Welcome back to Truth Quest. My name is Aaron Moriarity. I will be your host, and we're going to go on a quest for truth together. Yes, we are. Welcome, friends. Welcome back to the show. I'm happy to see you all here. And now I'm going to see how many people are here because, you know, it's always a mystery. When will I go on? I usually don't even know until right before I go on. And so nobody really knows. So I'm going to go ahead and share this out. And someone's already here. Well, thank you so much for being here. I'm sharing mine out to Facebook. If you're sharing the show out, let me know what social media you're sharing the show out to, if you do. And I would appreciate it if you did. Thank you so much. Okay, we are live. Yeah. Well, there we are. We're here again, folks. A brand new episode. How is that? Oh, and you know what? We got to get our music rolling here. Right? Okay. So looks like Sam is here. Jerry, hello. Radx, welcome, buddy. Welcome back. I see you've been busy putting out videos as well. And I encourage you all to go check him out. Thank you very much. And oh, where's our sound? Nope.
Oh, and you know what?
Nope. There we go. Oh boy, we had a little echo there. A little deja vu coming through. Or just a technical thing. I hope you're all doing well today. Hello, free range brain. Howdy, howdy, howdy. Howdy, howdy, ho. So I marked myself safe from hanging onto the outside of an airplane today. Thank goodness that didn't happen. Something else, huh? Hey, Cassandra, how you doing? Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. Why isn't that working? Okay, there we go. Simple message. It goes for everybody. Hello. Thank you. Thank you for sharing out to Twitter, Jerry. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I asked to, if you share the show out, let me know who you shared it to. And yeah, let's get people over here because we got a cool little thing going on here. Like somehow we got the coolest people on the intranet to come here and be in the chat. So that's pretty cool. That's very, very cool. Let me see here. So friends, there's so much going on, you know, and I just don't want to really cover something everybody else is talking about. You know what I'm talking about? It is tragic what's happening, but every generation has their tragedies. And it's not that unusual of a thing. We should feel lucky that we are able to see things with the discernment that we've gained from these past years and everything we learned about how the world works. And you know, another reason why disclosure is taking so darn long, you know. It should have happened. I mean, it was supposed to have happened. 1997 was one of the years it was supposed to have disclosure. But then lo and behold, they decided, well, let's not do it this year. Let's do it never, right? That's what they're saying. That is what they're saying. So, copy. I'm just having to do a little bit of changing the title here. And this is episode number 59. If anyone's keeping track of full disclosure, we're going to talk about lots of things. Anything you want to talk about, we can talk about it. So that's what we're going to do. Another copy and another paste. And we got that part taken care of as well. Okay. All righty. So I don't know, what is everyone, where is your mind at today, friends? I mean, it's Wednesday. Hey, Edward, how you doing? Free range brain. Good, I'm glad that we're calming you down. We need to calm everybody down. Edward says, will there be more Andrew Bashago? Yes. I will be doing a show with Andrew on the 5th. So join us and spread the word. Big change coming for you, Radax? Well, that sounds good. September 5th, yes, Sunday. And the first Sunday of every month is what we have laid out so far. And so looking forward to that. Looking very much forward to that. Also, I'm going to be getting in touch with Corey Good again. He's wrapping up the thing down there in Colorado Springs that he just did. A big successful event that David Wilcox showed up for as well. Surprise showing. And so hopefully I can also get my friends that I had on here before, Carrie and Todd Swearingen, because I know they were out there and they're so much fun. They're like a really cool couple. And so they go to a lot of these events. So I did one of their interview with them. I encourage you to go check that out. It was a lot of fun. They're fun people and very, very interesting stories and fun people. So there we go. Oh, free range brain moving from California to Florida soon. Well, hallelujah. Yeah, Florida's got a lot of that freedom going on down there. Yes, Andy's working on his books, getting all that, everything squared away there. Well, you know, some things happen that are sad, but, you know, turn that frown upside down. You know, make a funny face. Sit in the mirror and make faces until you can laugh at yourself. Because the funnest thing to laugh at is yourself. So you know what's humorous to yourself, so you can make yourself laugh all day. That should be our goal, shouldn't it? Shouldn't it now? We got time. Let's laugh all day. Yes. Well, friends, I don't know how many of you have seen any of my past shows that I've been doing here. But this is something I've talked about. This was a case from years ago. No. I didn't mean that. I meant that. Okay. Oh, there it is. So this is one of the famous California drones, they called them. This photo showed up on the intranet, a number of photos like these. of a very strange craft near power lines, and just out in, I believe this was out in California. California drones, they called them. But they've been seen all over the country, but a lot of them have been photographed there in California. And so it caused kind of a stir on the bottom of the craft right here. And you can't see it here, but if you zoom in on the crystal clear photo, I don't think this one's crystal clear enough, but they're like hieroglyphs. There's like some sort of strange writing on there. So now it was like a big mystery. They were trying to figure out, they even hired some detectives to try to figure out where this telephone pole is. And I don't think they ever really found the guy who took the picture, but someone came forward. You might know this if you know the case at all. This is from several years ago already. But this gentleman came forward. He called himself Isaac. And he claimed that he worked for this Palo Alto, California company called PACL. It was a group of scientists, physicists, mathematicians, and very intelligent people gathered together to try to figure out how to market some of these technologies that they were getting from extraterrestrial vehicles. So the military was going to Silicon Valley and saying, look, you guys, can you help us? We've got this stuff. Help us find an application for it. So this guy, Isaac, that's not his real name, he smuggled out many reams of paperwork from his time there at the PACL Carrot Laboratory, commercial application for extraterrestrial technologies. And fascinating story. If you've heard of it, it's just above the power lines. Now, back in the day when this was going on, one of the researchers was looking up patents and found a patent by an electric company in California for an invisible drone that would monitor the telephone lines, the power lines. But it would be cloaked and invisible most of the time. But Isaac said that this technology could be disrupted even by microwaves. So they become visible every once in a while, but there's patents for these out there. And that could be what it is. And that could have been the application that was eventually decided on for this technology. But he had pictures of the thing. His area of study on the object was the writing, the hieroglyphs, or the designs, the language. But it really wasn't a language. That he said that it was more like a computer program, software, so that when those letters or designs are imprinted in some way into the metal, a certain type of metal in a certain way, when subjected to an electromagnetic field, it performs a duty. It does something. Like they had this engine and these parts that were inside. When they turn this thing on, these parts go up in the air around where they would be normally held in place with some kind of magnetic locking. Very, very fascinating, very beyond our real ability to understand. But apparently they did get somewhere on this. And I'll show you a couple other pictures here. Now, this is one of the pages from the, where did it go? There it is. So this is a page from the linguistics section of study of this technology. You can see these letters or symbols. They're not from any language on Earth. And like I said, when they are printed in these type of patterns and on certain types of metal and then subjected to this electromagnetic pulse, it does magical things. And you could defy gravity, you could, amazing things. And this is what they were learning. And so he risked his life by sneaking these documents out. Totally fascinating. I mean, this looks like art. I mean, no matter how you turn it, right? It looks like art. In fact, I have these hung up in my house in different rooms as art because I think it is very beautiful. But yeah, it's a very interesting case. Now, some of the debunkers claimed, oh, well, all this stuff is obviously done with some advanced drawing program, like an Adobe Illustrator or something, and that they didn't have something this technical at that time. Well, but the government did. That's what the debunkers were missing. The military, or the secret military, DARPA, they have stuff decades before we know it even exists. Like, for instance, DARPA created GPS in the 70s. And so the Army and the armed forces have been using global positioning satellites since the 70s. Now, we didn't really hear anything about this until fairly recently, right? So that's one thing you have to always remember. And I have a picture also of the engine, where the two pieces are like in midair because they're being held there by that magnetic field. Very interesting. And this has, of course, those same type of lettering on it. It's kind of like hardware and software combined, but only works under certain type of electromagnetic fields. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. So look this up. You can find all the documents, all of the stuff that Isaac brought forward. It's phenomenal. So here's something. Now this right here is alien technology that they were reverse engineering to create the California drones, like the first picture I showed you. So yeah, that's one of the cases that I always really liked. Oh, Mud Rabbit, you lived in Hollywood for 18 years? Wow. And Radex too, wow. I was only in California twice, both on business trips. One time I got to go to Disneyland, that was fun. The other time I got to go to George Lucas's ranch, and that was really something else. Hey, UFO Pirate 17. Mud Rabbit, everybody. Everything looks cool in the chat. Cool, cool. Everybody comfy and cozy. Everybody's comfy and cozy. Oh, Rat, I got something for you here. Now, you've probably seen this. I tried to find this last time I was on. I just could not find it. And, oh gosh. Hope I can find it now after that big buildup. Aha. Here it is. All right. Let's see if we can get that up there. Back to the screen share. Oh, don't you love the screen share, folks? It's just so much fun. There it is, back in 1972. So we got the world population at 3,851,500. Well, whatever that is, that's a big number, right? 3 billion, 3.8 billion. US population, 210 million. Popular TV shows, Maude. I gotta tell you, I never liked that show. I think it was probably meant for women. Sanford and Son, Hawaii Five-0, cool hairdo. All in the Family, kind of rough. Bridget Loves Bernie. I don't remember that. Historical events, Apollo 17. Think about that, 17. Flies to the moon and becomes the last publicly known manned mission to the moon. HBO begins operating as a pay television service, HBO. Home box office. The first female FBI agents are hired. I bet they solved a lot more cases once they hired some women. Just my observation. Maybe, who knows? We'll find out. Maybe Radx knows. The first episode of The Price is Right, hosted by CBS by Bob Barker. Good old Bob Barker. How do you like that? The last U.S. ground troops are withdrawn from Vietnam. A gallon of milk was $1.33. How much was gas? 36 cents back in 72. If you had a time machine, you could go back and gas up back then. Time travel back. Okay, Dallas Cowboys won the Super Bowl. Superb owl. Actress Jane Fonda. American Pie, Don McLean, good song. Okay, so that's some of the stuff. I don't know if you knew all that stuff. Probably. I mean, if you're studying, 1972, I'm sure that's one of the first things that's going to pop up for you. So I just thought they'd be kind of fun to take a look at. So yeah. So that's the, that was what was going on back in the day. Well, am I doing a call-in? Well, nobody called in the last time, but okay, someone's asking, so I'm gonna put the thing in. Let's see if I can find it here. All right. Put this right in the old chatteroonie. Hey, Radix, super chat. Thank you so much. What's the call info? Here you go. Okay. I guess I better start looking at the participants to see if I want to thank you, RadX, for that donation. And that really helps, keeps the wolf away from the door. Keeps the lights on, makes me able to buy a banana. Sometimes that's my meal, a banana. Pretty good. Pretty good, I gotta say. Bananas. You know? Chat, say hello to everyone in the chat here. The Zoom chat. Oh, look at all the people piling up in the Zoom chat there. Hey, Terry Hopper. Hey, Colleen, how you doing? Colleen? CCP occupied state of Washington. Yeah, wow. Can't somebody run for office out there that's not deep state? I mean, it used to be a nice place, right? Hey, Diane, how you doing? Yeah, you caught us live again. Yeah. We're glad that you're here. We're so glad you're here. Okay. Monitoring the old Zoom chat to see if anyone shows up. Feel free to call in. The information's right there for you. Yes. Yes, indeedy. Yeah. All righty then. Okay. You know what else, folks? I gotta say, I'm really happy with my t-shirt shop, my merch shop, hoodies and t-shirts and can koozies, and I'm getting my first 2 t-shirts tomorrow, and I might just do a show tomorrow and wear one of them, and maybe show the other one on a hanger. And so that'll be fun. So I should get them tomorrow. I'm anxiously looking forward to that, for sure. Definitely. And alrighty then, I'm going to go ahead and screen share here again, because I just love screen sharing. Say, okay, since we talked about this, I'll just show this right away. Here are the t-shirts. Oops, better move that. Okay, I think that's out of the way now. I'll move it down. Is it visible? Okay, I hope so. So there you got the grays here. You have the Invisimask here, promoting the Invisimask. And the biggest story ever, which should be the headlines every day, and the Truth Quest logo. And you have a variety of different things that you can put these things on. So there's your Christmas shopping right there. Get your whole family into the Truth Quest. Isn't that, you'd be all Truth Questers. Yes, you will be a Truth Quester. When you wear one of these down the street, and people will say, hey, look at that Truth Quester over there. That must be a Truth Quester. So that's my pitch. Yeah. So I'm anxiously looking forward to that package arriving sometime tomorrow. So looking forward to that. Should be interesting. Interdasting, like they say. Right? Don't they? Yes, they certainly do. Don't they? Where are we? There we are. Oh, UFO Pirate 17. If I ever go live 6 to 7. Okay. All right. I'll try to get going earlier. It's, things have to line up, something cosmic about it. I'm not sure what it is. Yeah, tank top for global warming. I think that's a good idea. Thanks, Cassandra. I appreciate that. All right. Yes. Well, how do you like that? Well, still, I don't see anyone in the in the queue here. I'm wondering. I'm nearly broke after ordering Furby's food and litter from Chewy. Oh yeah, the Chewy. I get little things in the mail from them too. My daughter ordered from them once. I know, pets are expensive, but I looked outside the backyard today, or was it yesterday? And one of the dogs, one of my son's dogs, was eating something in the backyard. I thought, oh, you never know what a dog's eating. I mean, they're very good finders of food. So they'll find food. Hey, Paul, how you doing? Glad to see you here. Yeah. Keeping an eye on the participants here on the Zoom call. Maybe I can put another link in. Let me do that. Shall I? Maybe I shall. There it is. Right under Radx's super chat. Thanks again, buddy. Appreciate that. Okay, join Zoom. Copy that. I just scrolled up, grabbed it off the thing, and bingo, bango, bongo, and Irving. There we go, folks. There it is. Oh, something's cheaper than Chewy? Oh, yeah, if they find something in the backyard to eat, that's a lot cheaper. Thousands of pound pet eats like a horse. Probably is a horse, I bet. I bet that. Oh, yeah. Wow. Horses are really cool animals. And you talk about the power and the muscles of a non-meat eating animal. Look at a horse. They get all that protein from plants. From really like grass and hay. I mean, how can you get energy from that? They're amazing animals. Just think about a horse. Yeah, I bet it's a horse. Could be a donkey. Maybe it's an oxen, a pet oxen. We just don't know. We're anxiously waiting to find out. And look, we have our first member in. I'm going to let in Radx. Please mute your stream in the background. And here comes Mr. Radx 172, the ultra neutral. This guy has no dog in the race. He's the ultra neutral, okay, from 1972.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Hey, there he is.
Hey, what's up, Aaron?
Hey, I want to thank you for calling in. I really appreciate that.
Well, you look lonely in that spaceship. I figured you probably could use a passenger along the way or a co-pilot.
It does get awfully lonely in this spaceship all by myself all the time.
That's my dream, to have my own spaceship, just to live in my own spaceship and just fly wherever the hell I want to go. Right, just to be in the ship. Oh yeah, I would love it. Like Guardians of the Galaxy. You know how like Quill has his own ship. Oh, I would love that.
I've actually never seen that myself, but you know what is interesting? Back in the day, I think it was like 1979, 80, or around that time frame, maybe 78. No, I think it was 79. I can't remember, but there was some kind of a scare about nuclear war coming. I think what it was I think it was Jimmy Carter was president. I think it was Jimmy Carter. And the military came to him and said, sir, we've got a full battery of Soviet missiles coming our way. What do you want to do? Should we retaliate or not? And he's like, no, don't do it. Don't retaliate. It ended up being a false alarm, or the missiles disappeared. That's one thing, did aliens stop it, or was it a false alarm? But there was a lot of worry at that time. And I remember being on the bus. It must have been 79, 80, because I was on the bus going up to Fotech. And there was this old water tower, and me and a couple of guys like, wow, we should take that water tower, make it into a rocket and escape Earth before it blows up. Well, I'm glad we didn't do that, Wouldn't have lasted too long, But yeah, so what's new with you?
Just doing a lot of research. I just pushed out that video on 1972 predicted the 9/11 time hack. It's undeniable evidence. It just can't be, there's no way to get around it. It's overwhelming, all the connections. Like some of the things are just like, that are just so insane. Like the first time the Pentagon was ever bombed was in the year 1972.
Wow.
But it was bombed right after the first and only Jewish Miss America ever in the history of the Miss America contest. She just did a speech in the Pentagon talking about wasting American taxpayers' dollars because we were in the middle of Vietnam War. Yeah. So she was saying that they were wasting American taxpayer dollars. Anybody can look this up on YouTube. There's her whole speech is on there. Just look up 1972 Miss America's speech. And she was talking about wasting taxpayer dollars. So what happened the day before 9/11 happened? Donald Rumsfeld had to answer for missing $2 trillion in the defense budget. So in 1972, that it was like that was happening then. They were talking about all this money that was being wasted and stuff and missing from the military budget. And then not long after that, the Pentagon was bombed for the very first time. And it was actually bombed in the ladies' room, which is really strange. And I'm trying to find out if that's the same section where it was bombed that the plane flew into it in 9/11, when 9/11 happened. I'm trying to find out if that's actually the same exact section that it was hit, because you can see on the picture, if anybody looks it up, 1972 Pentagon bombing, you can see the where the bombing happened. They actually show the side, but I don't think it's actually the same side, because I think that the one side is where the parking lot was from one of the bombings. I can't remember. It's one or the other, so it may be different. I don't know, but it's just funny that happened. And the guy who actually, the terrorist who is supposed to fly his plane into the hijacker that was going to, the terrorist that was going to be the hijacker to hijack the plane that was going to fly into the Pentagon. He trained all 19 of the hijackers, and you guys can look this up. That guy was born in the year 1972, the same year that the Pentagon was bombed for the very first time. He was replaced, and you guys can look this up, because there's a whole news thing on it. Like, you can look it up on YouTube. There's a whole bunch of stuff on the news about it, about this guy. When they talk about it, they won't tell you the year he was born, but look it up, watch the news reports, find out who the guy was that wasn't able to get into the country to fly that plane. He trained all the 19 of the hijackers, and then look him up on Wikipedia, and I guarantee you will find his birthday is in the year 1972. Then look up the guy who flew the plane, who replaced him, the hijacker that he trained to replace him to fly the plane into the Pentagon. He was born in the year 1972. What are the odds?
I've always said, never trust anyone born in 1972. I've always said.
You've always said that. You've always said that since you met me.
I've always said it.
Yeah, a lot of people don't trust anybody born in 1972. It's funny, because I get people that come on my channel and they go, "Oh my God, I was born in 1972, or my husband was born in 1972, or whatever." It's like, it doesn't really have a whole lot to do with it. But if it helps them kind of pay attention to what's going on, then it's important. But like the Twin Towers, Tower 1 was completed and built in the year 1972.
Yeah.
It was completed. And not only was it, go ahead.
My brother used to always say, you know, there hasn't been a good song written since 1962. So he's on a different timeline. He's on a different timeline.
62. Yeah, and not only was Tower 1 completed in 1972, but it was also the tallest building in the world in 1972, and it held that title for 2 years. So it became a historical event by itself, you know, just by it being built that year. And that was also the same year that was, if you look it up, 1972 was the deadliest year in commercial aviation history. Well, what did they use to bomb the what did they use their attacks? Commercial aviation, you know, and the plane, the model, the 767 that they used was actually a copy from the Boeing, I forgot which one it was called, but it was actually a copy of another plane that was built that year in 1972. So it's the same plane.
Okay. And you said the Twin Tower was the tallest building. That's interesting. You know, I read a interesting factoid that in small towns, it's always the tallest building in all small towns is always the library. Is always the tallest building because it has the most stories.
That's a pretty good one. That's funny.
Yeah.
Has the most stories. There's actually a lot of people with a lot of stories, no facts or truth to back up their stories. But when the stuff that I share with everybody, I tell everybody all the time, look it up. There's evidence, look it up for yourself. It's right there. Anybody can look into it.
Yeah.
You know, let's like the whole thing, like, right, we just got done with the Olympics. Well, you know, because Olympics got pushed back, it was supposed to be the 2020 Olympics. And, you know, 1972 Olympics actually affected the 2020 Olympics, and they actually were connected. And I'm going to be doing a thing all about sports in 1972. And like, I just went and rented the movie today, that number 42, because it's about the first Black baseball player, Jackie Robinson. Right. And because I watched like the previews on it, I was like, wow, I didn't realize that Jackie Robinson went through so much crap just to be a baseball player, like, you know, because of the racism was just so bad. And just to play a sport, you know, he went through so much. And I was like, you know, I'm going to watch it because the guy who actually was the actor in the movie was Chadwick, right? Well, the guy who played Black Panther, well, he died in the year 2020, connecting 1972, because Jackie Robinson that he was playing died in the year 1972. Wow. Yeah, it just keeps going. Every time I turn around, there is more and more connections from 2020 and 1970. That's the reason why I was able to predict an election, and people were pissed off and didn't want to hear what was going to happen. But I said, hey, if you look at everything that happened in 72 and you connect it to 2020, it gives you the predictions. And I don't choose a side, so I don't really give a damn who you vote for or what you want to believe or anything. It don't matter to me. I'm just saying, here's the facts and here's what it's showing. You know, because there are so many things that happened in 1972 that were ended in 2020. Now, I'm going to be doing another video on that. It's just there's so much overwhelming connections that I want to make sure I get as much in as I can before I push the video out. But if you look at like I said with the Olympics, you know, there was this is just really crazy, guys. The Munich Olympics that happened in 1972 was considered the peace. They dubbed it like the peace Olympics because the last time the Olympics was held in Germany was under Hitler's rule. So Hitler was in power during the last time they had the Olympics there. So this Olympics in 1972 in Munich was supposed to be like this big olive branch of peace and everything, right? Well, Black September, a Palestinian group, goes to the Olympics and takes hostage 11 Israelis, Jews, right?
Yeah.
And they execute them
at
this Peace Olympics in Munich, Germany. I mean, what are the odds? And then the group is called Black September. They kill 11 Israelis, September 11.
Wow. Yeah.
Tower 1 was completed in the same year, 1972. 1972 Olympics, Black September kills 11 Israelis. September 11. And then the real kicker to all of this, because it gets even deeper than that. Over in Israel, in the same year, in 1972, the same exact year, Benjamin Netanyahu was part of a commando team that went on a hijacked airplane in Israel that the same group, Black September, hijacked, and Benjamin Netanyahu was shot in the arm on that plane, making him a hero to the country and what helped elevate him to become the prime minister, the future prime minister. He just lost, because everybody thought he had this death grip on Israel for a very long time, right? Like he became famous because he was shot in the arm on the airplane, a hijacked airplane, mind you, in 1972, the same year the towers built. He just lost to a new guy who is the second, because Benjamin Netanyahu was the first Israeli to ever become prime minister of Israel. But he was finally removed by a new guy who is the second Israeli to ever be prime minister in Israel. And that guy was born the same year he was shot in the arm, 1972. That's right. The new prime minister of Israel was born in the year 1972. But the biggest kicker of that whole thing with Black September taking over that airplane, that hijacked airplane where Benjamin Netanyahu got shot in the arm in 1972. You guys can all look this up. The plane number was 751. Let me see. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Let me look at my notes here. I'm pretty sure it was 751 was the plane that he was on. Hold on, guys. I'll find it. Yeah, the plane that he was on was 571. 571 was the plane that Benjamin Netanyahu got shot in the arm that was hijacked in Israel. The plane that flew into the tower in 9/11 was 175. The numbers in reverse. What are the odds? What are the odds?
Well, the odds are it was planned that way, so that's why it is that way. It's all numerology. These people, they rule themselves with numerology, and they make things happen on certain dates just to make their thing true.
Yeah, that would seem like it could be the case, right? So that Benjamin Netanyahu planned to get shot in the arm, but you also got to look. Well, then does that mean that they planned the flight 571 to crash in the Andes that same year in 1972? Did they plan that out? The one that where there's a movie called Alive. It's the biggest cannibalism story ever.
Right. Yeah.
That happened in 1972. It's the same numbers, 571, it's just a reverse. And they were rescued 72 days later. Was that planned out to be rescued only 72 days later?
Yeah, I think, well, who knows, right? I mean, I while you were talking, I looked something else up, and I thought I would be able to add to your 72 collection, but it came up a little short. We were talking about the Olympics, and I looked up the Laugh Olympics, and that came up out in 1977. So the Laugh Olympics were not 1972.
Yeah, I know a lot of people want to go, like, they want to try to explain things away. They don't really want to look at it. It's because there is a mechanism in people's brains to look away. It's like it just turns you away automatically to try to explain it away. Look, the worst jumbo jet crash in aviation history was in the year 1972. So did they plan that crash out? The worst crash in British Airways aviation history was Flight 548. That happened in 1972. So did they plan that out, or the hijacking, the first time that there was ever a hijacking in South Africa?
I don't know.
1972.
But it, I would like to hear about the good things that happened in 1972 and not all the bad things, because I'm kind of like getting a little sad from all this.
It's nothing to be sad about. It's just
I mean, I don't know. There was a lot of good things that happened in 1972. Now, when I put up that thing for 1972,
there's good.
Were any of those things new to you, or did you already see that? I'm sure you probably
most of that I did. The only stuff that I really put in my list are things that were historical history that were like major historical things.
Yeah.
I mean, there was good things that happened in 1972. Video games were created in 1972. First time video games were ever created, 1972. Yeah. Bill Gates, first company he ever made, Trafto Data, was in 1972. The first, mobile freaking internet, artificial intelligence robot was the Shaky Robot, and that was retired in 1972. Everybody thinks, artificial intelligence and robots are all new, but actually the first one to retire was in the year 1972.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever looked into David Adair's story?
No, who's that?
He was a rocket scientist. He built rockets, and he built this amazing rocket that it's so fascinating. But he launched it. They told him where to launch it to this dry lake bed at Papoose Lake. So he sent it there, and they took him into this building and showed him this alien-looking machine that was kind of like the same as his engine, his rocket, but much more technically advanced. But when he went in there, it was in the 70s, sometime in the 70s, at this facility near Groom Lake, part of the Area 51 complex, or near it. And they had optical scanners there. They scanned the retinas. They had optical retina scanners in the 70s. I'm not sure if it was 72, or I'll have to look into that. But very, very interesting.
Mm.
But his design that came to him in dreams was almost identical to this giant, size of a bus. He said it looked like part living and part metal engine, and it was obviously not our technology. We were trying to figure it out, and so it was a very interesting story. But I'm just curious if optical retinal scanners were probably in use by the military in 1972. I think they had a lot by 1972.
Yeah, there was a lot of things that were already in play.
Yeah.
That's why the stuff that I talk about is things that either began or ended that year. They weren't like an ongoing thing. So I don't add things that were already ongoing. They either began in 1972 or they ended in 1972. So it had a point of reference. That year was a point of reference for those things.
Mm-hmm.
And having a point of reference for almost 100 facts that shaped the world and reality that everybody knows right now. I just don't know why people always want to look away, and people get this, they're not comfortable looking at it, without something has happened to the human race. And my message is to try to help people unlock their brain, because there's never going to be no moving forward as long as, the brains are locked, like they're closed. You can't just look at it. Like, the first time there was a full clear picture of Earth was in 1972.
Yeah.
And that was they dubbed that the blue marble. And like you were saying earlier, the last time they went to the moon was in 1972, and that was Apollo 17, and 2 men walked on the moon. So that's that 172 phenomenon that I talk about often. It just keeps popping up, the 172, like building 1, building 2, and Tower 7 going down 172.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There you go.
It happens all the time.
Yeah, it's like deja vu all over again, isn't it?
Yeah, it's it's also weird too that because that was the last year that the last year that they went to the moon, the director Samuel C. Phillips actually left NASA and joined the CSS, or he joined the CIA and started the CSS. It was like a new Central Security Service. No, I'm sorry. He left the NSA. But no, he left NASA and went to the National Security Agency. I am sorry, guys.
That's
and
okay.
he created a new department called the Central Security Service. And the Central Security Service was a new branch that was going to spy on the NSA. Like, that's just weird. Like, and it happened in 1972. Like when they stopped going to the moon. They stopped going to the moon, and all of a sudden now they want to add a new branch from an ex-NASA director. He was, by the way, the first NASA director. He was the NASA director for the first time they went to the moon. He wasn't there for the second time. The last time they went to the moon, that's when they hired him in the National Security Agency, and then he created that department to spy on the National Security Agency. So obviously something happened on the moon, because why did they create a department that same year, which is the last time they went to the moon, to now spy on the National Security Agency, the NSA? Like, what are the odds of that? You know, and he was a former NASA director, and he was the one for the first time they went to the moon.
Okay, and it looks like Jerry in the chat started high school in 1972. There you go. A lot of things happened in 72. You know, they had that Harvest Gold appliances back in the 70s, so that's pretty. And I think wood grain was pretty good on a lot of station wagons. Got that fake wood grain going on the Woodies. But yeah, 72 was fun. I remember 72. Like I rode my bike a lot back then.
Well, it was the longest year in history, so there was a lot of stuff that happened. So somebody told me on one of my videos, they said, well, actually, there was a Caesar that dubbed 48 or something as the longest year in history. That's one man who thought the world was flat, who didn't even know, you know, who only knew that so many continents even existed. He didn't even know like really anything. The scientists and the geologists that dubbed 1972 the longest year in history is because they were actually watching the world. They're actually watching the world and checking the time, and it became and they said, yes, it's the longest year in history. And actually, the years have been getting shorter since 1972. In 2020, they're saying now, and I'm waiting to make sure it's completely confirmed before I add it into my 72 and 2020 connections. They're saying in 2020 had the shortest days in history, which is just weird, you know.
Days, I guess, because it keeps going faster, spinning faster and faster, right?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Have you ever seen the way that our solar system works? So the sun's going and the planets are going around it like this, but it's moving all the time. So if you draw it out moving, it looks almost like a double helix.
Yeah, you know, speaking of that, they're the largest asteroid recorded in modern mankind, the largest asteroid that's headed this way. It won't be here until like I think 2028 or 2030 something or whatever. It's not actually going to hit Earth. I think it's coming to Saturn, but it's going to come very close to our atmosphere. It's in reverse of 172. It's 271. So when I saw this like thing pop up, and they said the largest, you know, asteroid ever and mankind coming, you know, into our solar system. Its number is 271. I was like, oh, that's 172. You know, it's just crazy. And that's another thing too, like, right? Like when people who talk about time travel and stuff like that and say, you know, time travel, well, obviously aliens have, you know, there's species out there that are way further advanced us, way able to control and manipulate time. I mean, I don't know why people rule this out. Like they just think that humans are just the most intelligent things because they can only see what's right in front of them. But they're obviously able to control and manipulate time. Well, in the year 1972, the very first message that was put on a probe and sent out into deep space for the first time in history was Pioneer 10, where Carl Sagan put a gold plate on Pioneer 10, and it showed a human man and a human woman, and it showed where we were in the solar system, and it had like some other basic information about us. And that probe was the first probe to go into deep space, and that was Pioneer 10, and that was 1972. So when you look at all the stuff that happened in 1972, well, if aliens were to get that, they said, oh, maybe they'll get that, they'll find that probe in like 5,000-6,000 years or whatever. Well, if they can control time, when would they come here? They're going to come to Earth like 5,000 years after that probe was sent. Nobody's going to be around since that probe was sent. So if they can control time and manipulate time, of course they would come the time that the message was sent. And the message was sent out in the year 1972, and it was the very first probe. You guys can look that up. Pioneer 10. But I mean, hey, you know, This is all evidence that aliens have been tampering with, our timeline. It's clear evidence. Everybody talks about disclosure, and they want to. I don't give a damn about UFOs. I've seen UFOs. I've seen a UFO about a week ago. I don't know what the hell it was, so I don't know what's on there. I don't know what it was. It could be anything. It was unidentified flying object. It screeched across the sky. It looked like a asteroid, but it didn't make any sense because why would an asteroid be going kind of up instead of down? So I was like, that's just the weirdest thing I ever seen. But well, that's not the weirdest thing I've ever seen, but it's just like I don't care because there's nothing I can do about what something that I just saw that was a flash. There's nothing I can do about that. But looking at hard evidence, like looking at this time hack, if this was to make it out, if this was to get into the mainstream media, to get it pushed out, which that'll never, most likely will never happen. But if it did, it would make everybody stop in their tracks and say, wait a minute, maybe our timeline is being messed with because these things are not possible for it to happen. There's your disclosure right there. That's all you need. Looking at the timeline and knowing it's been hacked tells you that something is going on. That will push the veil up overnight.
Talk about a hacked timeline. Guess what I found? I'm going to share it right now. When you talked about Pioneer 10,
yeah,
I actually used that in a little comic to promote an action.
There it is. Line. 1972. That was that Carl Sagan himself sent that message out on a gold plate, and obviously it was retrieved. And if it was retrieved and you can manipulate and control space and time, of course you would come here the year the message was sent out.
Right.
And when they did, something happened and the timeline got hacked because it's not possible for all those things to happen in 1 year.
Yeah.
It's just not possible.
That was like the crux of the comic here was these aliens found this thing. It's a roadmap to Earth. And they're like, third planet from the star. They look very weak and stupid. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so if they found that like 10,000 years from now, they come here from 10,000 years from 1972, it's not this Earth and nothing's going to be the same. So they would come here when the message was sent out in 1972. Right.
And here's the cover of that comic, The Gladiators. So they come from the planet Crocodilus that blew up. And when the planet blew up, it sent eggs and, some of their, eggs throughout the galaxy.
Yeah, that's why it was the longest year in history because they had to cram so much stuff in that 1 year that extended the year out. That's what made it the longest year in history, I believe. I believe that's why it happened.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Interesting.
And you got to look at all the other stuff that happened that year that was solar, like the things like the sun. The fastest solar flares to ever hit Earth was in the year 1972. In fact, the solar flares were so fast and so rapid and powerful that they blew up 24 mines underwater. And this is during the Vietnam War. And our Navy thought that there was some secret weapon that the Vietnamese were using to blow up the mines underwater because they were like, all of a sudden these mines are just blowing up and they're just going off all over the place. They're like, what the hell is going on? And Navy's panicking, they're freaking out. And then it wasn't until later on that I think, what is it called? The people who study the sun or whatever and the planets, astrophysicists or whatever. Anyhow, they said, oh, we had massive solar flares that day. And that's the reason why those mines blew up underwater. And that happened in 1972. And speaking of the Navy in 1972, the first time there was ever, and the only time I think there was ever a riot, a race riot on a Navy ship was in the year 1972.
Wow.
That same year there was a race riot on a Navy ship where the Marines and the Navy, the black naval officers were fighting with a bunch of Marines that were on the ship. There was a whole race riot that happened on there.
Terrible.
Which is the same year also. And I know you don't want to hear like the bad stuff and all that.
No,
but
I mean, don't want to hear the bad stuff.
Yeah. I'm just educating people on all the stuff that happened. But
people hear so much bad stuff. We don't really, but go ahead. One more bad thing.
Well, okay. I mean, for you, it's bad, but for people who are trying to get educated, trying to understand what's happening with the time hack, it's like you have to look at everything in general. In the year 1972, in New York City, Louis Farrakhan in his mosque had a war with the New York police, and
Right.
where one police officer died. And you can look that up too. Louis Farrakhan brags about it. He talks about it, how they ran off the police in New York, the Muslims versus the New York Police Department.
Yeah.
Well, in 9/11, 19 hijackers died and 72 police officers died. 1972.
There you go. Well, the hijackers died, but their IDs survived. So through the magic of something.
Oh, there's a lot of magical stuff that happened,
Well,
like with the Pentagon, right?
well, and after that happened, because they couldn't find the black boxes, they started making the black boxes out of those IDs. So they'll survive next time, right?
Yeah.
They sure will. They sure will, folks. I want to say hi to everybody in the audience here in the chat. My buddy Corbin Phoenix is in the house. And I've interviewed him a couple times, so you can go back and take a look at those interviews. He's a cool guy.
Yeah, I saw Edward Taylor left a comment. He said DARPA controls time in 1972. Well, DARPA became DARPA in the year 1972.
Yeah,
so during that year, before that, they were ARPA. And actually, they had ARPANET came out in 1972, which ended up becoming the internet.
Intranet.
So that the birth of the internet is 1972.
Right. And also probably cat memes probably came about it. It's 1972 too, I bet. The first cat meme, possibly. I saw a really cool comic. It showed like a lion in one enclosure, and right next to it, it had like a house cat. And the lion, it said King of the Jungle, and the house cat says King of the Internet. I think that's pretty apropos.
That's actually true.
I know. There's something about cats. I mean, you think about cats, house cats, they never existed in the wild. Neither did dogs. These were engineered organisms that never existed in nature, right?
As far as we know, as far as I know, the first house cats was really recorded in ancient Egypt because the Egyptians actually revered cats. So it was like a big thing for them to have cats. In fact, they mummified their house cats.
Right. Yeah.
So wherever those people came from, they probably brought the cats with them.
Yeah, cats. I always think of that comic also that shows a cat with a cutaway and it shows like an alien inside it. And like, oh, that's why they act like that. There's actually aliens watching us, right? There's an alien inside that cat suit. Have you seen that comic?
No, I haven't seen it.
Oh, really? Oh, it's a meme that's been around for a number of years.
Is that one of yours?
No. I wish it was. It's a drawing of a cat, but with a cutaway, so you can see inside the cat, and it shows like a gray alien, like he's.
I have seen that. Yeah. I've seen a couple of things like that where they say that aliens or cats are aliens and they're controlling humans.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like the meme that says like if the world was flat, the cats would have knocked everything off.
Exactly. Right. Oh, and I have a flat Earth meme that I did make.
Mm-hmm.
You want to see that?
Yeah, put it up.
I think I put it up before, but let's see. Funny, I just had this. I had a feeling that I might need this. This isn't the original copy, so it might be a little bit pixelated.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah,
the fleece.
The flat dog theory.
Mm-hmm, flat dog theory.
They've got members all around the dog, right?
That's actually really good. It's a good
all
one.
around the
Aaron, did you make that?
You know what? I did. I made the meme. However, I found the picture. I didn't have to draw the picture. The picture existed. It was just a couple fleas on the back of I'm assuming a dog. And I just, I added the words. So I took an existing image and I just
very
changed.
Clever.
Well, thanks. Yeah. When I get an idea for a meme, it's like, I gotta do it, it has to come out. And this one, I love it because it's a way to tell flat earthers what you want to tell them without hurting their feelings, because I don't know. I just think that the earth is probably earth-shaped and not flat. It's my theory.
Mm-hmm.
Just a theory. Oh, and that picture you said of the earth from 1972, the blue marble. Now, isn't it true that was rumored to be an illustration? Now, the flat earthers hang on to that because it's like the only image of Earth, and it's really a painting.
Yeah. Well, what the problem with the flat earthers and what they're not getting, I've heard because so the last time that there was a full clear picture of Earth was actually in the year 1972. And the reason why we know this is because the flat Earth movement started around 2012. It got really big around 2012, 2013, 2014, and all of a sudden there was this massive campaign to shut them down and shut them up. And because of that, all of a sudden around 2015, NASA says, hey, we got new pictures of Earth. And it's like, come on, dude. Since 1972, and you guys wait all the way till 2015 to finally show new pictures when there's people saying that the Earth is flat. I don't care if it's flat, diamond shaped. I don't care if it's shaped I don't really care, to be honest. I literally don't care what the shape of the Earth is. They got good arguments, but then some of the stuff says that they're wrong. So at this point, it's a moot point. Unless a flat earther is actually going to get his ass on now commercial rockets that can take them into space and prove it, because I'm sure there's enough people in that community who can come together and pull together to get enough money to get a ride on one of the rockets on Blue Origin or the Elon Musk and get up there and say, hey, look, here it is. It's flat. Until they can do that, they need to shut up, because now there's the technology that can get their asses up there. There's enough people that they can all put $1 in and get one person up there, like Eric Dubay, who is like a nugget on a dog's ass. He's annoying as hell, but he believes what he believes, and he's sticking to it. But put your money where your mouth is.
Oh, he's a flat earther.
Oh, he's the main flat earther, dude. Eric Dubay is he's the main guy. He's the go-to guy.
Man, I just think that whole flat earth thing is just put out there to make us all look like idiots. That's what I think it is. It's a psyop. That's what
I don't think that. I think that there's people that have good arguments for it, and there's some questionable things. And I think that there's some good people who think that that it really is flat, and that's just what they're going to stick to until they see evidence to prove them otherwise. I think to call everybody stupid just because they believe in a thing, what somebody believes in today doesn't mean that's what they're going to believe tomorrow.
Yeah,
I know what I mean?
I just think, flat Earth.
What if all of a sudden we found out the flat? What if we did all of a sudden find out the Earth was flat, and everybody else would be looking like idiots, wouldn't they? So I don't really. That's why I say I don't care if it's flat or round.
The only thing that would change for me is I just have to make another meme.
You'd have to make another meme. The dog is flat.
Gotta make another meme. Yeah.
The dog is flat.
Yeah, that's I guess the day every day is an opportunity for another meme. What kind of meme can we do today to wake up the normies, to help bring along disclosure?
What's disclosure for you? I was going to ask you that. For you, what is like the ultimate disclosure?
The
What
ultimate
is the
disclosure.
ultimate disclosure?
Well, I think the ultimate disclosure would be full disclosure. I mean,
No,
not
what is it though? Describe it.
okay. So as it pertains to the UFO and alien issue, it would mean every single thing we've ever known about the aliens should become public knowledge. Just throw a terabyte of stuff on the internet and let people go through it. That's what I think should happen. And
Do you think, and that would be enough?
if people are going to go to prison because of the things they've done to keep that secret, then they should go to prison for doing the things they did to keep that secret.
So you want to see people get arrested and you want to see all the files, and that would be enough for you for disclosure. And then you would just, I'm done. I got all the answers.
No. It's an ongoing thing because obviously there might be some things that they can't tell us everything because of supposedly national security, but that's been used.
Well, then that would be full disclosure then, Aaron. I mean, full disclosure means telling you everything.
Yeah. Good point.
Right. So they would have to tell you everything if you want full disclosure.
I think that's going to come probably not until we are able to read minds, because there's so much deception, even in, like you said, even in disclosure, so much deception in disclosure. I mean,
That's right.
you know, there's a classified case that the cavalry ran into some aliens. That's still classified. I mean, you think they could at least like let that go? I mean, you know, for a good start, they could say, okay, every case that's more than 20 years old, we're going to relinquish everything we know on it.
But then where do you go from there?
And just keep going, because
And keep going. And then
what
and then
happens? See, what happens is now the moon landing. When the moon landing happened, there was a renaissance of new American business and new businesses worldwide that popped up. They had to develop the LCD screen, and that led to calculators. First, they had like the light up calculators, then the LCD screen. That all came from the Apollo program, and it advanced our society. You know, it created a new industry.
First calculator watch, 1972.
Yeah, I had one, Casio. So what I'm saying is when these secrets are revealed, that we've made these accomplishments, that we've had this technological leap, then now that it's made public, companies can take advantage of these new technologies, put out products that make our lives better and make it a more interesting planet to be on, because it's getting kind of old. It's still 1972 to me here. So, and you know, because imagine if they kept the Apollo program secret, the same way that the Russians kept their manned missions to the moon secret because they crashed and they didn't want to tell anybody if they crashed. What if they kept the Apollo program secret? Then all those things they developed would never have hit the market, and we would be still using abacuses. Think about it. I don't know.
Yeah. So I'm watching the chat. Anybody in the chat that's listening right now, type in what you think full disclosure is to you. Put that in there. You know, write what you guys think what's full disclosure, and then write where you would go from there. What would you do with your full disclosure? Right? Like, you hear about people always bitching about full disclosure. Well, what is it? You know, and where do we go? Where do you go from there?
Good idea. Now, to me, it's kind of like the patent office. So when you get a patent, you get 17 years to market that item, and then it becomes public knowledge. So there needs to be a set time for some of the sensitive information that maybe it needs to be secret for a while, maybe 20 years. And then everything beyond that is made public. Something like that needs to happen. I think that would be fair. You know,
what if full disclosure was that everybody found out that you were all under control by a bunch of different alien species, and that what people are thinking, because I hear a lot of people saying they want disclosure because they want good things to happen for them. We want free energy. We want this. We want that. What if you find out that their full disclosure is not really what you want to know, right? Like, what if you find out that full disclosure, 1972 is really a time hack and there's aliens actually controlling your timeline, right? And, what if you find out those things?
Well, I think it's good that we find out those things because, once you find out that there's cockroaches in the kitchen, then you can you can do things to fix it. So
if there's an alien species that can control time, how the hell are you going to fight that? Explain that one.
Well, knowing it is the first step, is what I would say.
Exactly. And that's why I keep talking about 1972.
Yeah.
That's exactly why I keep trying to expose the time hack.
Okay.
We got some people talking about disclosure here.
Yeah. Back from the Future says full disclosure is revealing that we are currently living on a starship inside a biolab section on board space traveling ark.
That's a possibility.
Well, the Earth is like a spaceship, right?
Yeah.
So
that's a possibility.
Yeah. It's there's a lot of possibilities.
Jerry's got one there. Read that one.
Okay, let's see. Full disclosure would have actual aliens become spokespeople for their worlds and intergalactic expression void of Earther interference. Yeah, that's.
I like that. Great. I like that. Yeah,
great.
Like that. That's good. That's a good one. What about Edward? He's got one. After the Phoenix Lights.
After the Phoenix Lights, nobody ever marched on Phoenix, which seems that millions of people would have gone there for answers. Nobody wants full disclosure. They just swept the Phoenix Lights. Well, I
agree with him. I agree. Oh, go ahead.
I disagree with that. No one wants disclosure. I think everybody wants to know what's happening. Nobody doesn't want to know what's happening. I mean,
no, there's a lot of people that don't want to know. I talk to people all the time that are in straight still denial that aliens even exist. There's people that are in straight. There's people in our government who there's people in the government who still think that there's no such thing as aliens. That say that. So I agree with him that there's just not. He's right. There's not enough people to actually make enough.
No, I disagree. I think the amount of people who want disclosure far outnumbers the people who don't care. And I think that a lot of the people who don't care are people who are wrapped up in, deep state, muddy things like sports and useless things that take up their time and mental energy. Yeah,
1972 was the only undefeated team in NFL history, the Miami Dolphins. When you want to talk about sports. So who else we got talking about full disclosure here?
Cures for most diseases. Terry Hopper. Full disclosure for me, seeing Area 51 become a theme park for the whole family. There you go. Let's watch Jimmy walk into the area that's radiated from all the bombs.
That's what I was going to say. Go in a whole person, come out a whole nother person.
Look how Johnny is glowing. Isn't that cute?
I now have 8 fingers. What am I going to? I'm going to be able to text faster.
Hey, let's go to the cafeteria. Have some more of that 3-eyed fish. Let's have some more of that.
Yeah, it was Area 51.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting answers. Very, very interesting. I think Kennedy said it the best, that an informed citizenry. What would he say? Something about an informed citizenry. The only way for this government to work is to have an informed citizenry. And that's true. We need to know what's going on. If they keep us in the dark, they can just rob us blind like they've been doing. So
how is that going to change?
Well, truth and honesty and transparency.
You think that the deep state's going to let go of their death grip?
I think that the good guys will win. The good guys always win in the end.
I like what Mud Rabbit said. She said, and some people are just content being happy idiots.
They are, yeah.
I agree. I agree, Mud Rabbit. I agree.
What did it say? What's bliss? Ignorance is bliss.
Yeah.
Ignorance is bliss. But if we're going to advance,
The Matrix.
we're obviously stuck in a rut. If we're going to advance, we need to know what the heck is going on so we can take care of it and move on to the next rung.
Look at the time hack. That'll unlock your mind.
Look at the next rung of the ladder. Yeah, whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. Nasara Jasara, I don't know about that. You know, I've been hearing about that for years, and it just seems like Nibiru, like it's never coming. I don't know. Who knows?
Jerry said he wants his bubbling skin to change colors when he goes to the theme park in Area 51.
It probably will. Yeah. You know, I always thought that
might be able to mutate.
Yeah. And if, you know, I remember being in school doing nuclear bomb drills where you bend over and kiss your butt goodbye. But I always thought, you know, make an interesting shadow, you know, because that's all you're going to be.
Speaking of nukes and nuclear, in 1972, the SALT Treaty went into effect to stop mass producing nuclear weapons. 1972. Just like 1972, they stopped using biological chemical warfare. Which we know that started up in 2020 all over again.
Interesting. Corbin Phoenix says, light beds for all, become the purest version of ourselves, no teeth fillings or nothing. And then we get to ask the question and get 100% answers and have access to all things they kept from us. That's a good one. I like that. Then Diane Rain, I want the technology to be released for all humanity's use. Yes, that would be great. I'm a sovereign child of God and never gave them permission to be lied to or be harmed by evil. Very, very good. I like that. Yes, we have to give our permission. This is what the Satanists do. They put it out in the form of a movie. And if you don't say, I don't accept this, I don't want this, I reject this, they take that as, well, that they give us the okay to do it.
Hey, Sandy, what's up? Hey, Sandy, you missed the question. The question was, what would be full disclosure for you? And so that's what we've been asking people in the chat. So whatever you think full disclosure for you would be, put that in the chat so we can read it, so everybody else can hear what it is.
Hi, Sandy Sue, 22. Hey, that rhymes.
Sandy Sue, 22.
It's pretty
Make
cool.
a song. Come on, you're the musician here.
Well, Sandy Sue, she's 22. She's Sandy Sue, baby. I am working on a song, but I'll show that when it's done.
Sandy Sue sounds like it would be an Elvis song.
Regrow the limbs for amputees. There's a good one too.
Yeah.
Cure cancer.
You'd have
Everything.
Cure cancer.
Cure everything. Yeah. I want you all to send prayers and healing thoughts out to a friend of mine, Kim Carlsberg. She'll be coming on the show at some point, but please keep her in your prayers. She's going through some stuff right now. I want hair like Aaron, Edward Taylor says.
That's not real hair. Tell the truth, man.
It's real.
It's not real. That's not real hair.
It's real. You know,
it's got a life of its own.
Someday I'm gonna do a video of me doing my hair, because people always say, oh, it must take you hours to do your hair. No, it takes less than a minute. And
because one day he got on here and it was backwards and he had to stop the live stream and turn it around the right way. It takes a minute.
Yeah, you know, I used to work at a dealership out here, a GM dealership, Chevys, Buicks, Cataracts, and it gets winter time up here. We get snow, up in Wisconsin, and so we go out when it snowed. We go out and brush off all the cars, move them so we can plow the lot, and everyone's like, they got their jackets, their gloves, their scarf, and their hat, and I'm out there, and I got my gloves and my jacket and my scarf. I don't have a hat. And one of the guys goes, "Hey, Aaron, where's your hat?" I said, "You see this hair?" "Yeah." "This here is thermal hair." So
Does water bounce off of it?
I use, the hairspray I use is called hurricane hair. And so, yeah.
Hurricane hair.
Yeah, I
Hurricane spray.
use nothing but the good stuff in my hair.
It's hurricane. Get it right. Hurricane.
Hurricane, yes. That's a good one. Hurricane. Yes.
I get one once a year. I get one singer in.
I use that French hairspray. What's it called? It's got that French name. Suave. Suave. It's the suave. Suave. Mega Hold. And LA Looks gel. That's all it takes. LA Looks, I think, is like $3 at Walmart. And the hairspray is like $2 or something. Cheap. It's the cheap stuff.
We got a whole picture, Sandy. That was in 1972. It's the blue marble, but it was the first picture and the last picture, full clear picture of Earth. All the ones after that have been, people say they've been doctored, they've been CGI, but a lot of people do believe that was the first and last one, was the one that they took from the moon in 1972.
But it's not. It's not. Also, they have a satellite now that's studying the sun. And so it's between the sun and the earth. And they point it back at the earth, and they can get a picture of the earth with the moon in front of it, and you can see the far side of the moon. So there's like lots of images of the earth now because of that satellite.
Here's a big mystery to me that really bothers me. Is we can see Mars from Earth, right? Like we have telescopes and stuff. We don't need powerful telescopes to see Mars. We can see Mars with cheap, shoddy telescopes, right?
Right.
But they have these rovers and all these things on Mars. Why are they not turning the cameras around that are pointing at the ground and everything? Why don't they put a better camera on one of the rovers and point it back at Earth so they can see Earth from Mars? They've never shown. Really? I haven't seen. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Pull it up. Pull it up. Let's see it.
Oh, I haven't
seen that yet. Oh, I'll have to look at that because I tried to find out. I was like, why is there no pictures of Earth from Mars? They would also, if you're looking for Mars back at Earth, you would also see the stars would align differently. So what we see, our POV from Earth looking out into space, what we see looks like the Big Dipper from our point of view from here will look completely different from the point of view from Mars, because it's like
slightly different, because those things are so far away, they don't really move much.
Well, your point of view goes from whichever your angle or where you're looking from, though.
Okay, I got the images here. Curiosity rover sees Earth. Space.com. Okay, here's one. But you really can't see it. Okay, there it is. All right, I gotta put that on my desktop, and then I'll get it over to there. Hope that works. Now we'll go to the old screenshot of Rooney. That takes a while to get it up there.
That's all right. Yeah, I'm interested in seeing it because it just doesn't make. I don't even know why they don't even talk about it. Like you figure that would be like something that they would show on Fox, CNN, like all they'd say, oh, and here's the rover. It's looking back at us on Earth. Everybody wave at rover on Mars, but that's not even a thing. Maybe there's like some pictures that they put on the internet, but why wouldn't they use that as like one of the things to say, hey, look, here's, it's showing back at Earth and you can see Earth from there. It seems like, to me, it just seems kind of weird. I'm not saying they're not on Mars and they're not doing this stuff, but I just find that's just like, am I the only person? It doesn't make any sense. I don't.
Yeah.
Why do they not have that out there? And why wouldn't they use that as one of the things to talk about? Like, oh, here's something else that we're doing on Mars. Look, we're looking at Earth from Mars. And oh, look, we can see from the vantage point from Mars, things look different looking back this way. And so, oh, this is what the stars will look like from that point of view.
Okay, so there it is. You can see there's Earth there.
That's shoddy ass shit.
I
One
know.
dot. Where's the rest of the stars, dude?
Yeah, right.
I'm not buying it. No, I don't buy. I don't buy that at all. Hey, does anybody in the chat believe that that's actually that they? Does anybody? Where's the rest of the stars?
I'm not saying this is. I just did a very quick, on the fly search.
Yeah.
Anyone else can do it too.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm just saying.
I had seen it. Now that's not the one I saw. The one I saw was a lot more real looking than that. So I don't know.
I'm gonna look. I'm gonna look it up too.
Yeah, you go ahead and look it up. But yeah, I know I have seen that before. I know that was interesting, but I just did not find the exact same picture that I had before. Just don't have it there.
Yeah, I'm not trying to challenge your views or what you believe or anything like that.
Well, I really wish that you would, recognize my scientific contribution to the field here. And here's one of my other discoveries that will highlight that, my scientific discovery. Now, I've discovered that the shape of a continent can sometimes reveal the original inhabitants of that continent. And I made a discovery about Antarctica. Check this out. What do you think about that? Look at that. Is that thing 1 or thing 2? I'm not quite sure, but there he is. Yes. Are you there, Rat?
Yeah, I'm still here. Yeah, I'm looking at it. I was reading the comments too at the same time. Yeah, it's
all right.
Did you draw that?
I did not draw that. What I did was I found the image because I was looking at Antarctica and I thought that looks familiar. That shape looks familiar. And I thought it looks like thing 1. And I found a picture of thing 1 and I overlaid it and went, holy crap moly. Look at that.
That is crazy. I get it. I see what you're saying now.
But yeah, it totally looks like him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it looks more like a side version because his mouth is open, Sandy Sue, thank you very much. Sandy Sue says, Radx. In fall 1972, I moved to town to go to college, then left. In the fall of 2020, I moved back and now live across the street from the college. Full circle. Wow.
So you're part of the time hack, girl.
And a 2020. Wow.
You're part of the time hack.
Yeah, you're going to be on Rat's next video, I bet.
Yeah, on the list. You're on the list, girl.
You want to get on Rat's list, that's how you do it. Thank you so much, Sandy Sue. That's awesome. Thank you for the contribution. It's fantastic. And
I was just listening to a story talking about Alaska, by the way, that there was, this is from Linda Morton Howe, and she was talking about these guys that were in the Air Force that went and dropped off these scientists in Alaska because there's like this hole that's there.
Antarctica.
And they were told
Antarctica.
Antarctica. I'm sorry, not Alaska, Antarctica.
Right.
They went and dropped them off there, and the scientists were supposed to get back to them. He said that there was like 6 of them or something like that, and they were supposed to get back to radio back to the air base that was there and let them know every 24 hours that they were okay or whatever. And they didn't hear from them for weeks, and they were told, don't worry about it. When the time comes and they give us a call, we'll go get them. So they were told to be on standby for weeks until these guys got a hold of them. Now they went down there at minimal gear. They didn't have enough food or enough stuff to last for weeks on end, but yet they were gone for a few weeks. And finally they get the call, and the Air Force goes back to pick them up. And when they do, they said the scientists came back and their heads were down. They wouldn't look anybody in the eye. They they were just, it was like they were completely changed, like their world just crumbled. And so it just makes you wonder, you know, what did they see in there? You know, were they actually, so when they went down there and they saw the aliens and stuff, did they find out that, hey, yeah, there's aliens that are, there's a bunch of aliens, and that this is a zoo planet, and the humans are the lowest intelligent species, you know, of the, you know, higher species on this planet, and they're literally being manipulated and toyed with all the time by these a bunch of other species. And once you see that and you come back from that and you're told to keep your mouth shut because you went down there, and that, you know, all kinds of bad stuff can happen to you and your entire family, of course you're going to keep your mouth shut, you know, because now it's not just you that's on the line, it's your family. See, they like people who are not loners, because they like to have things that they can hold on, people that people gravitate. So these guys came back and they couldn't even look the others in the eye and stuff. So it just tells you that something happened, that they couldn't face the human race again, right? Like they were, that it just like something was just pulled out of them. Like they just realized that, man, we are screwed. Like there's literally, like, we're really not a whole lot, we're not as special as what we've been fed and what we've been told, and that there's a bunch of aliens here who are doing things, manipulating things in the shadows. It's the reason why people's talking about full disclosure and talking about all these things with UFOs and stuff, and all these different types of UFOs and different species and stuff. When you find out that, yeah, it changes everything, you know. And
I don't know if you follow Corey Good's.
No, yeah, I'm not really a fan of Corey Good, but I've listened to him.
This is from his testimony, and when he put this up, he got in trouble. This shows where the underground bases are in Antarctica. So there's one here, one here, one here, one here, and one there. Okay, those are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. And apparently this is sensitive information. And so, yeah, I tend to believe Corey's story. Some people don't. That's, you know, it's up to whatever. I just think it's very highly interesting. And what Corey said he saw under the ice there, he was brought there by the Onsharp, apparently, according to his story. He saw humans with tails. It's like they were doing experiments, part human, part animals, and these other strange beings with strange shaped skulls and strange shaped bodies that did not look terrestrial. And 3 large spaceships that they cannibalized and used to kind of build out their society there, because they crash landed apparently. So yeah, very interesting.
Well, that's a good thing we don't have a really serious tyrannical deep state government, or they would shut him up real quick, wouldn't they?
Yeah. Well,
guess the government's not that powerful. I like what Sandy Sue says here. Even NASA says all pics of Earth are CGI. You can Google that phone call and another video of a whistleblower confirming it. Of course, you'll have to use the way back to find them nowadays. Oh yeah, you have to go way back to find them.
Okay. Yeah.
Did you ever hear that phone call where the guy calls in and he's like freaking out and crying and stuff, and he's saying that there's aliens here, and he was working on that. Yeah. Was it on Art Bell?
I think so.
That was a spooky phone call, man.
Yeah, I don't know.
and then he disappeared, so there was nothing, you know. But that's why, like, okay, so look at what's that guy's name? Oh gosh, the one guy that was out there that shared the stuff about Element 15 or whatever.
Oh, Bob Lazar.
Bob Lazar. Look at all the shit that the government did to him, and he wasn't giving up like a whole bunch of secrets. Only a few things that he talked about. Yeah, I saw a spaceship. Yes, I may have saw aliens, but that's it. That's all he really was. That's all he really said. He wasn't giving up locations. He wasn't giving up all these big details. And look at the stuff that the government did to him. They came at him hard, hitting him with false accusations and doing things, threatening him and doing all this stuff to him and all these government people. And you look at all the stuff that happened to him for just that little bit of information. It makes me wonder, when people have all this wild, crazy bunch of stuff where they're giving up all these details and yet nothing's happening to them.
Well,
So I measure things by those type of standards.
If something happens to them, then that would validate their story in a way.
But nothing's happened. A lot of stuff's happened to Bob Lazar the moment he came out and started speaking about things.
Yeah, but he's been quiet for a long time. He just recently started to talk again. So,
that's right. And his disclosure is very small. I saw a UFO in a hangar.
His testimony is huge. I'm showing the model kit that testers came out with, that was built on the specs that he gave. And he reveals how the craft works. They generate their own gravity field through the use of this element 115. They access the gravity wave of the nucleus and they amplify it. And they can create a gravity field. So that's phenomenal information. He's a credible person.
Yeah, well, one of the things that gives him credibility is he showed his actual pay stubs from the government.
Yeah.
So he actually shows them. He says, here's my pay stubs that I actually worked.
And he was in the phone listing too, for the people who worked there. So he was listed. So he's got ample evidence that he did work there. So,
and that's why I tend to believe Bob Lazar over a lot of other claims.
Yeah, but I think
the stuff that the government did to him, and in fact, he can show hard evidence of him actually working there. With having a pay stub.
Now, the one guy that they think they did kill was that guy. What was his name? The guy that had part of his hand blown off. The guy that the Dulce base, the alien wars at the Dulce base, they lost like 40 people. They were tunneling down. What's his name? Phil? No. Gosh, I can't remember his name. He's a metallurgist and a geologist, and he was working with this crew, making this underground base, drilling for this base, and they hit something. It was an existing base of tall grays. So they went down to investigate, and they found these aliens that stunk like crazy down there. And he shot one of them, and they shot back, and it hit him in the chest, and it burned a hole right through his hand. And what's his name? Oh, gosh, I can't remember his name. If I look at the chat, maybe someone's saying it in the chat. I can't remember that. Phil Schneider, that's it. Phil Schneider.
Phil Schneider.
I think they killed him. But the thing is, they can't kill everybody, because then it'll be like, hey, wait a minute. It'll be like the naturopathic doctors that keep dying. It's like,
well, they have three ways to get rid of you: car crash, suicide, or false imprisonment. That has been a known staple point for this government for a very long time. And yes, if you're saying the things that they don't want you to say, and you're giving up information that you're not supposed to be giving up because you actually have real information, they're going to make your life difficult. And one of those things are going to happen to you. But if you're just making wild ass claims, there's nothing to back it up. They'll let you run with that all day long. You could build a massive audience because that's good for them. That's disinformation. That's a good way to get people to look the other way. Fairy tales and fantasies.
Yeah, and then they can lump you in with the flat earthers, and there you go.
Exactly.
So they can discredit. That's why you always listen to the message and pay as little attention to the messenger as possible, because they're always going to attack the messenger, because they can't they cannot attack the message, because the message is there, and the message is separate from the messenger, and people forget that. People are so easily swayed. People are so easy to control. I mean,
I agree with you 100%.
I mean, even more so than a marionette puppet.
Bill Gates wasn't anything until 1972 when he created Traff Their Data.
Yeah.
Diane, so I was just replying to her.
Okay. Phil Schneider documentary. Yeah, Phil Schneider was an incredible. Have you ever seen his videos?
No, I'm gonna look that up. Is that the white guy who is kind of like a goofy, nice looking guy, got short blonde hair?
No.
Little heavy set,
kind of gray hair, I think. But he talks about the medal that
he was was he murdered like right after he came
yes,
out talking about his alien
he was
stuff?
definitely murdered. He was definitely murdered. I think they ruled it as a suicide, but
that's what did I just say? Suicide, car crash, or false imprisonment?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I would never commit suicide, just so everyone knows.
I've said that on my videos. I'm a good driver and I would never commit suicide.
Yeah. And I plan to live forever. And so far my plan's working. So if I don't live anymore, that was not part of my plan.
And I don't break any laws that I know of.
Not that I know
say
of.
that you know of, because they pass laws every day and we don't even know what the hell they pass.
I know it. You know what?
I have no idea.
You know what Jesse Ventura said when he first walked into his office at the as governor of Minnesota, or one of the offices that he had? There was a whole wall of books, and he goes, "What's all that?" He goes, "Well, Mr. Governor, those are all the laws of Minnesota." He goes, "Really? All these laws, and ignorance of the law is no excuse? This is terrible." So he made a thing where if for any new law that was proposed, 2 old laws had to be taken off the books.
I love Jesse. He should have been president.
Yeah, and you know,
Jesse was, and he's an amazing person.
He got light rail into Minneapolis when no one else could ever do it. And it goes from Minneapolis to the airport, to the Mall of America. And, you know, Minneapolis never had any train service at all. It's not much, but it's something. But every few years, they would do a multi-million-dollar study, because I grew up in Minnesota, about monorail or a light rail train or something. And the studies always lasted a couple of years, and the result was always the same. Well, what we found out is it's going to cost a lot more now than it would have if we would have started when we started this. Well, no kidding. It's always going to increase. That's why you do it as soon as possible. So he cut all the red tape and got it done. And he also looked at the budget and noticed that the taxes, people were paying more money in taxes than what was spent in Minnesota, and the bean counters, as he calls them, were finding other things to spend all this extra money on. He said, wait a minute, we're not going to do that. We're going to give that money back to the Minnesotans. So he took the extra money that they paid away from the state and gave it back to the people. And the people just fell in love with him because they were like, hey, we've got a guy who's on our side. He's actually giving us back our money. You know, where they never would have known it was happening. You don't know right now if you're paying too much on taxes. We don't know, because that's the way businesses ran. But when Jesse became governor, he saw that and he said, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to give these people back their money. And he could have spent it on something for himself or whatever the hell they do. Yeah. Jesse Ventura. I met him. He's a nice guy. Big guy. Have you? Yeah, his real name is Jim Janos. Jim Janos. But I think he got his name when they were, driving on the Ventura Boulevard. Like, oh, there's a good name. I think that's how he got his name. But yeah, Jim Janos. My editor, when I was writing the script for Countermine, I told him, I said, I really want to get Jesse Ventura to play this small cameo role in the pilot of the show. I want him to play the general. So he actually got a hold of Jesse Ventura's publicist, and Jesse Ventura's publicist looked at the script that we were pitching, and he said he gave it to Jesse's son to look at. But at that point, by the time it got to Jesse, we were already, the pilot was already done. It was already in the can. Would have been cool. Yeah. One of those would have been things. Doesn't really mean anything. He's a great guy, and he says it like it is, and he doesn't take guff from anybody. He's a cool guy. The World According to Jesse. Yeah. That's his show on RT or whatever. He was a one-term governor. That's all he wanted to be. So, and I think he wanted to be president, and he should have been president. Right. When you can look up on the internet, you can find an interview or a little press conference that Trump did when he met Jesse after his win in Minnesota, because Trump was thinking about toying with the idea of running as an independent for president. So very interesting.
Yeah,
And
Soprano Conspiracy Theory was a great show when Jesse went out to Alaska and he went to HARP and they wouldn't let him in. Was like one of the best shows ever. Like how he was pushing to try to get in there and they were not going to let him in. And it's just like, you know, this guy, you know, Jesse, trying to use his power and he couldn't get in there. It's just like, it's HARP. I mean, it shouldn't be like what are they keeping so secretive in there in that program that they weren't going to let him in there? Like, oh yeah, come on in, Jesse. It's just we're just experimenting with some type of weather stuff and things like that. That wouldn't be that big of a deal. But obviously there's something else going on. They wouldn't let him get in there, right? If it was what they say it is, you know, but
that episode he did about the JFK assassination was also very good. He showed that it's physically impossible to cock and shoot that quickly for the recording of those shots to be coming from the same gun. So he proved that was, and you know, Jesse is a sharpshooter, whereas
I've seen that episode.
The alleged gunman, of course, who wasn't the actual gunman, was not a sharpshooter. He wasn't actually that good. So,
you ready for the 1972 connection to the JFK?
Okay, go for it.
Okay, so Hale Boggs, who was he was the House Majority Leader. He called for J. Edgar Hoover to step down from the FBI because we all know that J. Edgar Hoover, it was his FBI. He created the FBI. Hale Boggs said that he wanted him. He was the House Majority Leader. Said he wanted Hoover to step down because he botched the investigation on JFK. And in 1972, Hale Boggs ends up disappearing in a plane over in Alaska, never to be found, nothing, not a stitch of clothing, nothing. The plane, him, and the crew all completely disappeared, gone. And so there are people who are speculating, saying, you know, he pissed off the wrong person because he pissed off Hoover. But the other 1972 bizarre thing that happened was J. Edgar Hoover died in that year, 1972.
Wow. Hale Bogg, you said?
Yeah, Hale Boggs.
Hale Boggs. So wait a minute. Hale Boggs. Hale Bob. Hale Bob.
Just like, like the Comet in a way.
He took a ride on the Comet.
It's a sad story about Hale Bogg. That's the problem, because they've kind of just washed him out in history. This man was like, he was trying, as a House Majority Leader, trying to reopen the JFK files, dude. He was trying to look it up. He was trying to reopen that stuff. He was telling Hoover to step down, the head of the FBI, and then the man disappears. They got rid of him like that in 1972.
Yeah, and look at and
nobody even talks about it.
Trump did the same thing. He wanted to release all of the Kennedy files. He released most of them, but some of them the CIA would not let him release. So they're still hanging on to it, which I think is atrocious. We need full
Jerry, I saw that. Yeah. Yeah, you guys look into Hale Boggs. I think you'd be surprised. That's like I said, that's like Mitch McConnell, Chuck Schumer disappearing in a plane tomorrow. Yeah. All of a sudden we hear that one of those guys disappears, or even Nancy Pelosi, and they just disappear, and then you don't hear anything else about them. They just disappear. That doesn't make any sense.
I heard something about Nancy Pelosi. Did you ever hear that?
Nancy pants, huh? Oh, fancy Nancy pants.
Let's see. Did you hear that she is rumored to have had an affair with JFK?
No. Are you serious?
I'm serious. I even made a meme out of it. You want to see it? I'm sure you want to see it.
Was she good looking when she was younger? I don't see it.
I think she was like Miss Shaving Cream or something. Or
was she?
She was some Miss,
These people are so deep
Car
state.
Parts.
It's not even funny. They've been
Miss
around for
Car Parts
forever.
or something, Miss Car Parts. So here it is. Here's the meme. So it says, it is rumored that Nancy had an affair with JFK. And in all the years she has been in politics, that is still the only thing she has ever done.
Well,
It's my little.
is there any
Nancy.
pictures? Is there any pictures of her in JFK? I wonder.
There's a picture of her. You can find a picture of her where she won this. I think she's Miss Car Parts of the Year or something. I can't remember what it was, but
Now she's got to be Miss Spare Parts. She's so old.
yeah,
A couple tits and a left leg.
a little bit of Bondo. I think looks like Bondo, but yeah, it's also rumored that she's stepping down now too. So hopefully that'll be the case, and we can. But there's that.
Who's going to be her wonderful replacement?
I don't know.
Who's gonna save all of America? I don't buy into any of that stuff because they're all bad. They're all bad.
You know what? But what the good thing though, Rat, is the good thing that has come of all of this. And every time something bad happens, something good happens because of it, or to fix it. And that is, people all across this country are doing what? They're running for their school board. They're running for office. They're becoming committee councilmen or committee men of their precinct committee men.
Politics is like the police department, though. There's a lot of good-hearted people want to go in and make a difference, and then once they get in there, then they just realize it's not what they thought it was.
Well, but you know what? A lot of people do.
We've been fed this story for a long time.
Good people. Listen, there's good There's good people. There's way more good people than bad.
I believe there's good people.
It's just that the people in power, the power has been consolidated by the evil people because that's what they're focused on. Now that people are awakened, because the awakening, they are running for office in record numbers, like J.R. Majewski in Ohio, and there's countless numbers of people running for office where they never would have run for office before. And their sole intent is to go in and do things for the people and to return power to the people. So it's a really encouraging thing that it has to keep happening, and there has to be transparency in everything. And I think it can go forward because this is a great form of government, and we can't let it fall victim to the globalists and the Satanists that are trying to take over. Because
Mud Rabbit said that Nancy Pelosi's father was in the mafia.
Yes, true.
And apparently she was beautiful when she was younger. I'm going to have to look it up.
Yeah, she was a looker. But yeah.
Seems like there's a lot of mafia ties and stuff like that, in the government.
Yeah, anytime someone relates themselves with ice cream, you got to question it. Now you got Nancy Pelosi and Biden, both with ice cream. So think about that. What's that all about?
What do you mean with ice cream? What do they do?
Am I running it? Nancy Pelosi was showing off during the pandemic to all the plebes out there, all of the expensive ice cream she has in her freezer, in her like $32,000 freezer. And she has this expensive, she was bragging about how she has all this expensive ice cream. And then of course you have Biden and the press corps asking him what flavor ice cream he's, because he's always eating ice cream. And that's really the only questions he's allowed to answer are, what flavor ice cream are you eating today? So yeah, it's give them cake, give them ice cream, and rob them blind, I think is what the order of the day is. Keto ice cream. What is this keto?
Every time I try the keto stuff, it doesn't taste very good. I don't know if anybody else likes the keto stuff. I tried it. It's not. I
tried keto pancakes, and I didn't even know what the heck it was.
The keto drink, I tried that. And
I won't buy it again. I think it's a stupid thing. I don't know. It reminds me of the Breatharian Diet. I think that happened around 72. I'm not sure when the Breatharian thing started.
I think the guy's name was Jack McLean or something. So this health, this guy who was like really big on health for a very long time.
Yeah.
He said if it's white, don't eat it, and if it tastes good, spit it out.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, Sandy Sue asked if I'm running yet. I'm thinking about running for mayor here in Sturgeon Bay because I just, one thing I do right away is get rid of the fluoride in the water.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would.
How would you do that?
I would say, hey, I'm the mayor, and we're going to have a referendum or something, and we're going. If I can do it myself, I'll do it. I don't know. If I get in there,
I'm just asking you.
I'll figure it out. I don't know. But it's a very low paying job. So
it's a labor of love, man. Do you care about the people or don't you?
10 grand you get for being mayor of Sturgeon Bay for all the grief that you get. You get 10 grand. So yeah.
The mayor in my city here where I have my martial arts school actually gave me, I got a proclamation from the mayor. But the weird thing is because the mayor has always been really good to me, and there's been people in the town that were really good to me. But just about 3 months ago, and I was actually going to post this on my channel, I was just like, I really don't want to post it. The police chief got in trouble and it was all over the news and stuff. And I know this chief, and he's a real ass. But he put a note on this first black, because there's no black cops there. There's no black people in that town at all. And they got their first black police officer in the town, and the chief police put a note on his desk that said KKK. And so that ended up like all over the news and stuff, and he got fired. And Dennis Brigham, I think is the name of the mayor, who they were doing like all these interviews with. And I'm just like, like I know all these people. I got a proclamation from that guy.
Wow, that's nice.
And I was actually going to post it on one of my videos because like the movie Men Who Stare at Goats, actually my school is literally 12 minutes away from his school that they made the movie about that man, Men Who Stare at Goats. He actually died in 2020, which is weird. But there was that program started in 1972. Which is just bizarre. And here he is 12 minutes away from me. And it was the remote viewer program. And he was part of that.
Okay.
And like I said, they actually made a movie about him. And I made a video about it where I talk about it and I show, here's where my school is and here's where his school is. And I show all this evidence that, hey, look, the guy's right there, and it's just, and here's, those things that people don't care. That big of a deal, I guess. It's just, for me, it was just a 1972 connection, which was bizarre.
Yeah. Well, we're getting a lot of 1972 correlations for you here. Corbin Phoenix mentioned a while back here. Also, Cassandra said that she eats plant-based ice cream. I never heard of that. Maybe that sounds like something I should try.
Yeah, I'll try that out.
And Corbin, if I can find his thing. What if Trump comes back in 3 days? Oh, 3 days. Oh yeah, the 22nd. Someone said that. That's right. Didn't the pillow guy? Even if he did, the media wouldn't cover it. Yeah.
Didn't Antifa say? Didn't the pillow guy say that Antifa hit him? I don't really. I'm not really on here to talk politics. Yeah, it's really.
Yeah, he got attacked. He got attacked in the elevator, I believe, at the event.
Yeah.
When he got back from the event. Terrible.
He said it was Antifa. Could
be. I mean, he spent $7 million of his own money to do that. So what a patriot. Because I think all of our elections should be audited every single time, right away. I mean, everything should be filmed. Every person's screen should be filmed. Everything should be recorded, just like they did with the forensic audit. But for the night of the election, everything should be filmed.
Do you think that'll ever happen?
Yes, I think it will. I think it definitely will. It has to. Otherwise, we don't have a country.
Mhm.
If you can't count on your vote, then we don't have a country. And
Mhm.
what's the point? What's the point? And, and that answers a big question.
I mean, the technology's been there to do that for a very long time. Why haven't they done it already?
Well, because it's never been done on purpose, because the people in power are benefiting from this, just like gerrymandering. I mean, they're all part of it. So there are some bright spots, some good people in there. And like I said, there's more good people than bad people. It's just that lately, we've got a lot of bad people in power. Those people need to be replaced. And thousands of corrupt CEOs stepped down in the last few years. So that's a good start too. So
maybe they know something that we don't.
Things are starting to come around, and people are waking up. And it's only when you reach the precipice, when you are willing to change or to accept the reality. And the reality is coming fast like a train to a lot of people. And the truth cannot be held back. I mean, look what's happening now. I mean, you have the Taliban on Twitter. They're not banned, but Trump is still banned off Twitter. And when he was a president, I mean, come on now.
I don't think that they should ban anybody
from
any social media. I think if people want to say go on racist rants, they should be allowed to do it. If people want to say heinous, crazy ass things, they should be allowed to do it, because what they're doing is they're suppressing people to the point to where they can't vent, they can't get out their message, and people can't not just confront them, but just kind of talk to them and try to understand their point of views and to have some type of talking. They're suppressing the people to the point to where this is a reason why you get these school shootings, a reason why you get people going to work and shooting up everything, because they've been suppressed they've boxed people in so much, and they do it on social media. It's not just Trump, it's everybody, right? Like, so many people are shadow banned from getting messages out or just saying things. And because of that, we don't really know what's going on. So people have to lurk in the shadows, and then all of a sudden there's this explosion.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone should be able to say whatever they want. I want to hear people if they want to go on racist rants, Black, white, Puerto Rican, I don't care I want to hear what they have to say. I want to hear what their problems are. If you don't want to hear it, don't listen to it. Turn it off.
Black, white, Puerto Rican, everybody just a freaking. That's from a Prince song. Uptown, look it up. It's a
Uptown. I know that song.
Great song. It's where I want to be. You can set your mind free. It's the area of Minneapolis where you would see years ago. You would see Mohawks, like really tall, like Mohawks, and all kinds of crazy hairdos and clothes. Very, very cool place.
Censoring doctors. Yeah, that's what's happening, guys. The more that they keep censoring people and keep quieting people down, they're trying to force people to think and to say certain things. Like, you can't say, anything to women anymore, because people are afraid. Like, there was videos on YouTube, and they shut those guys down, like the whole MGTOW community, all this stuff.
You can't serenade a woman. That's stalking now.
Yeah, you can't do so. Like, how does a woman, I wouldn't want to be a woman. I would not want to be a woman in this day and age, because you can't tell a woman her nails are nice just to say it, because they got women thinking that if you just say her nails are nice or her hair looks nice because she did, did a certain thing for today, you say something like that, and they automatically get this thing in their head now, because the way the media and everything's like, oh, he's going to try to rape me or something. That's terrible. That's horrible for the women, and it's horrible for the men. Like, you just can't. And this is not a world problem, guys. This is a certain culture problem. Like, in the rest of the world, this shit ain't going on. This is only like a few countries that this is happening, and they all have connections. And it's just weird, because they're definitely, this suppression and stuff it's anti-human. That's just all there is to it. It's anti-human.
Yeah, and I like to think of it as, sadly, what they're trying to do is they're trying to force the Chinification of America and the world. They're trying to turn everybody into China. Because you remember maybe a decade ago, and when we heard things about, oh, in China, they won't let their people see certain things on the internet. Isn't that terrible? Well, what are they doing now? They're doing the exact same thing here. It's the Chinification of America. Where they got us wearing masks like they do in China. They got us censoring.
That sounds like too much like vagina. You better be careful what you're saying. You'll get in trouble. You get a charge on here.
Chinification.
Chinification.
Well, make that a song, Cassandra Cohen said. A good idea, the Chinification of America. Yeah. There you go. It could be a song. Yeah. I wouldn't want to be a man, Aaron. You better be careful. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be a woman. I'm very happy to live out my entire life the way I was born. That's the way it's the way nature intended it. You know, never be sick of being a man, and don't ever be sick of being what you are, right? Because everyone is important. Nobody's above anybody. And
exactly. I agree with that.
Everybody's got a purpose. We're all here for a reason. And, it's all about, for me, it's all about encouraging people to eat dried grapes. I call it raisin awareness.
Raisin awareness.
Raisin awareness. That's a good old joke there.
Yeah, eat enough raisins, you'll be full of shit.
Yeah, you gotta watch out for that. The last date I had was a raisin.
Yeah, my Taekwondo teacher, who I trained under for years, he left America and went and moved to China and lived there for 10 years. Actually, I had to hunt him down to find him because nobody knew where he was at. And he opened 2 Taekwondo schools up in China and was teaching Taekwondo to the Chinese. His schools are actually still there to this day. But when I finally found him and contacted him, he was in Singapore. And he told me, after I talked to him for like a month, he's like, man, I miss America and I want to come back home. And I said, well, sir, don't want to say his name. I said, well, sir, whenever you're ready, I'll come pick you up from the airport. And sure as shit, like within a few months later, I picked him and his new wife up at the airport and brought him back home, and he went to Texas. And that's where he is to this day. And he literally went to China and lived there for, 10 years. Taught over there,
That's interesting. Well, yeah, Texas is a great place to go because they got the best toast. But, I got a question for you about Taekwondo. Mm-hmm. What happens when you bake Taekwondo?
Oh, jeez.
You get Taekwondo bread.
Get Taekwondo bread.
There you go. There's your Taekwondo joke.
Here's a 1972 Taekwondo connection. The World Taekwondo headquarters was created in 1972 when Taekwondo was actually founded in 1972 from the 7 Kwans.
You might be interested to know also that Taekwondo joke is an Aaron Moriarity special.
That's a good one. Put on a shirt. Put on a meme.
Really? You think, huh?
Yeah. Did you just come up with that one?
No, I've actually said that for years. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
When my son was looking at getting into Taekwondo. I remember we sent away in back of a comic book for jujitsu and karate and all these other instructions. And we got this in the mail, all this information. And our parents took it from us. Our parents took it from us because it showed you how to kill someone by hitting them in the neck. And they didn't want us killing anybody. So I don't think we would have killed you.
Yeah, Mud Rabbit. Yeah, it's the kooky one. And martial arts has other connections to 1972 because you guys know the Ip Man story. Right? All this stuff about Ip Man, they talk about Ip Man all the time. Well, he died in the year 1972.
Yeah.
It's like, what are the odds? It's so weird.
Wow. Yeah. Full of dad jokes. Yes, I'm full of dad jokes. Yeah, while everyone else was reading.
I have the bad jokes. He has the dad jokes. He has the good ones.
I'll take the dad.
Mine's-
I'm glad. I'm
mine's,
grateful for the dad joke thing because I am a dad and I like jokes, so it kind of fits. I'll wear that one. I like dad jokes. Humor is terrific. You know, I toured a guy when I was selling timeshare, and he gave me his card, and his card said, "Hit, humor is terrific," and it said like ex firefighter, ex, you know, whatever job he had, and then expendable. Very funny. He's a humorous guy, so I like people like that.
Yeah, I got my first degree at the Kooky one, and I got my fourth degree through World Black Belt Bureau because my original Taekwondo instructor, who's Grandmaster, he got his fifth degree through the Kooky one, but I only got my first degree from them, and then from there on, I continued training under another master and went up to fourth degree under the World Black Belt Bureau. Which, by the way, the World Black Belt Bureau. Master Kang Ree, there's pictures of him and Elvis Presley because there's like a whole book of him and Elvis Presley, and this is my connections with that is because that's who signed my certificates for my fourth degree.
Wow.
There, but he taught Elvis Presley for years. Elvis had 3 instructors. If you guys are interested in this, because if you guys don't know this, Elvis was a avid huge fan of the martial arts and trained in martial arts since he went into the military. When he went to the military, he first started training in judo, which is where he met Priscilla. And then when he came back to the States, he was looking for security detail, and he got a hold of Ed Parker, who's the head of the Kempo Karate, Kempo Karate, and he trained under Ed Parker for years in Kempo. And you can see videos of Ed Parker and Elvis Presley, a lot of videos, as well as the fact that Priscilla, when she cheated on Elvis, she cheated on him with one of Ed Parker's black belts, Mike Stone.
Yep.
Which is one of his guys. And
my instructor,
who's 10th degree in Kempo Karate, he trained on Ed Parker and got to meet Elvis when all that stuff was going on, because he used to be a gym rat and he followed Ed Parker everywhere.
Now, I think it was in 72 or 73. I think we talked about this before, but Elvis was on stage and someone went on stage to attack him, a couple of guys. Mm-hmm. And some of the members of his team who were also martial arts, they took care of him, but Elvis knocked one guy right off the stage with his moves. And his white jumpsuits were designed around his karate suit, because he said, I want my suit on stage to be like the karate suit so I can move around, you know.
A lot of people didn't know that. And if you watch him on stage, and if you really study the martial arts, you watch martial arts, he's big in the martial arts community. A lot of people don't know that unless they're really deep into martial arts. But if you watch him on stage, he's actually doing martial arts stances. He's doing punches. He's doing kicks. Like he still did the hip shake thing and stuff, but he was doing a lot of martial arts in his stuff, you know, as his career was going on. It was actually really cool. But people didn't know that. They just thought he was dancing. They thought that's the way he danced.
Yeah. Even else is an interesting tidbit about Elvis was he was always reading comic books, and his favorite comic was Captain Marvel Jr. And he based his life on that comic. He thought that, and he noticed that things that happened to that character in that comic book was what was going to happen to him. And it checked out. So it was very interesting.
That is interesting. Yeah, my sensei from Kempo that knew him, well, he didn't know Elvis, but he like just met him once. And I have like a whole interview with him talking about this in my school with a bunch of older people that I teach.
Cool.
But he said that they used to sneak Elvis into karate tournaments so he could, not to actually compete, but they would sneak him into the stands in the back where nobody could see it was him. and he would just to go watch karate tournaments because he was just such a fanatic fan
That's cool.
of the martial arts. They would sneak him in.
He was great. Yeah, he got a lot of people into the martial arts too. And he never went to any Hollywood parties. He was invited to all kinds of Hollywood parties, never went to them. He always went right back to Graceland after he got done shooting.
He was an amazing person, man. Amazing person, one of a kind.
He was. And not only was he, handsome, had a cool name, and was an incredibly talented singer.
Cool voice.
Musician. But he was also a really good spokesperson for himself. He really did a very good job of handling the press, and who else can do that? Not very many people can do all those things. So he was a very, very cool dude. Yeah.
Mike Stone trained with my instructor.
Wow.
Diane, because she was talking about Mike Stone, she just looked him up. And the crazy thing is a lot of people were saying they think Mike Stone was actually biracial. So it's just like, there's like a whole lot of weird stuff. But here's the thing, for a lot of people that don't maybe not know this, Elvis was not racist at all. In fact, there's this story about the time that he was to perform in a hotel down in New York, the same place that he was going to be performing at, Sammy Davis Jr. was supposed to perform as well. And Sammy Davis Jr. was at the front office trying to get a room, and they told him he had to go to another hotel. And then Elvis says, "Do you have open rooms?" And they say, "Oh, yes, sir. We have plenty of open rooms, but you already have your suite." And he says, "Well, then why are you not giving this man a room?" And they said that pretty much they didn't want his kind there. And so Elvis said, "If you do not give this man a room, I will not perform here tonight." And the hotel knew that if Elvis was to pull out on them after all those tickets and stuff were sold, that there was going to be problems in that hotel. So that's one of the things that really, this stuff with Elvis is he was an amazing person. He didn't have any biases. I bet you he didn't even vote. And that guy was just like, he was just a person for the people. I think that's all he cared about, was what he, giving his gift to the world and to the people. I love Elvis. I have my thing that came from when I got my certificate from Kang Ree. He gave me a picture of him and Elvis. I can show you that, and it's signed to me. Cool. And it's a picture of him and Elvis together in his school.
That's cool. I got another story about Elvis and his standing up for non-whites. He was going to do this concert at a stadium, I think in Texas. And the person who owned the stadium was racist. And he told because Elvis was in the 70s, he had background singers, and he had the Sweet Inspirations, which was a black singing group. And this guy said, "Well, I like Elvis, but you can leave those black girls at home. Don't bring them here with you." And Elvis said, "If they can't come, I'm not coming." And they finally said, okay, we'll let you do it. And then he arranged so that he would ride around the perimeter of the stadium in a open top Jeep with the Sweet Inspirations, so the whole crowd could see him with them in the car going around. He just rubbed it in their face and said, it's not going to happen. No, he was not. There wasn't a racist bone in his body.
Yeah, he had a lot of black people around him, and he just had people in general. It didn't really matter if you're black, white, whatever. Right. He just had them around him. But yeah, the black people were just welcomed in even into his home. And like I said, there was some of the guys who were on his security detail were black, and they were under Ed Parker, and Ed Parker was another one. Ed Parker and Elvis Presley were like inseparable for a very long time. The guy who was the head of Kempo Karate, he was literally inseparable with Elvis. I mean, they were like always together. It was kind of a big deal. And Ed Parker was another one who had no racism at all. But in the Kempo world, there was a lot of racist people in that world. And it was just like, well, they would not even go into the dojo if there was blacks in there. They wouldn't go in there and train. And
Wow.
Ed Parker said, if you don't like it, go someplace else. And Ed Parker was a badass. And if you guys don't know anything about Ed Parker, type him in and look him up and watch his hands fly, because that man's hands were absolutely amazing and lightning quick. And he was something else.
I'm going to put up on the screen share here a painting I did of Elvis. It's a pretty large picture. It's a watercolor of Elvis. So I hope you can see that.
Did you paint that?
Yeah, I did.
That's pretty good.
It's watercolor. It's pretty big too. It's kind of a big painting.
I think you just took your own hair off your head and put it on that picture.
You know what? I did that from a picture. There's a picture of him in that same pose. And when I was doing
that's a picture of you. You just put his face on there.
No. So when I was doing the painting, I was doing the hair, and I'm looking at the picture and doing the hair, and I'm like going, whoa, it looks pretty good right now. And I looked at the picture and I'm like, no, I got to do something else. I'm like, no, I'm going to leave it, because sometimes you have to know when to quit, because you can overwork a painting and it might not look that good if you keep working at it, you know? So I just left it, and it looks great. You know, I'm pretty happy with it. So that's that. I've been drawing Elvis and painting him since I was a kid. I used to sit in my room and listen to Elvis and just draw him. You know, I was like some kind of Elvis trance or something. I was really...
yeah, it's a good thing you never met him, because he probably would have had to get a restraining order on you.
No, I don't think so. No, they nothing like that.
Elvis would me too you. Me too, man. Can't get Aaron away.
No.
Got to get the Kempo guys on him.
Nothing like that. No. Yeah. No, but yeah, I remember thinking about Elvis impersonators. Like, I would never do that. Then all of a sudden I was doing it. It's like, oh, okay. Although when I was in second grade, I imagined myself on stage singing Elvis songs. And I was wondering how I was going to get the music so I could sing to it. And I would, on my way home from school in second grade, I would sing Elvis songs and try to remember all the words, because I pictured myself on stage singing Elvis songs. That was way before karaoke.
I'll have to send you a picture sometime of me when I was younger, and I used to do Michael Jackson impersonations.
Oh, really?
You know, I looked like him so much when I was younger. This is a true story, guys. I got in trouble, and I was in court, and the judge was a female, and she was actually pretty, and she literally was flirting with me. And she said, "You know who you look like?" And I'm like, "Oh gosh, here it goes." And she goes, "You look like Michael Jackson." And like all the guys that were like chained up to me were just laughing, like, "Oh," I'm like, "Oh man, he just made me a total target."
Oh, that's funny.
But she actually went light on me. But yeah, I used to do Michael Jackson when I was younger. I'll send you some pictures. I had really long hair and everything. Just
wow.
Things changed.
I put a picture of me up there.
Hair falls out.
I got a picture of me as Elvis up there. That was at my first.
Is that you?
Yeah, that's my first photo shoot. Yeah. And it was.
That's pretty good.
They did not have any mirrors at this photo place. I thought, how can you not have any mirrors? And so I had to borrow someone's hand mirror, and I was like setting up each shot, and I look in the mirror and I toss the mirror and go, okay, click now. There was a certain look I was looking for, and so I was directing the photo shoot.
I'll be back in 1 second, guys.
All right. Oh, Diane Rain says, the reason I just like the word fan is it's short for fanatic or fantastic, maybe. Oh, Spanos fan thought that was Elvis. Thank you. Thank you very much. I try to look as much like him as I can when I do. I'm trying to sound like him as much as I can as well. There's another picture, and this one is on Beale Street in Tennessee, in Memphis. Good old Memphis.
All right, I'm back.
He's back.
Yeah, I do. When I'm not teaching martial arts, my main job is I do in-home care for disabled people. So at night like this, I check on them, make sure everything's good. You know.
Okay. Well,
I took them out to the Medieval Fest actually a couple of days ago. That was pretty fun.
Oh, cool. Medieval Fest.
Yeah, I love going to those things.
So this is a picture of me on Beale Street in 2005 in Memphis. The one time I got to go to Memphis. It was a lot of fun. And I thought I would go every year.
I've seen this picture of you. It's a good one.
Thanks.
How old were you?
Well, that was 2005. And
okay, so you're like what, 60?
No, I'm 59. I'm still in my 50s. But I add the digits together. So 5 plus 9, I'm 14. So I'm 14.
Mm.
Yeah.
Why don't you got the guitar with you? You should, it's like you're missing the guitar.
I'm missing the guitar?
Yeah,
I do have a guitar. Let me see if I have a picture of myself with a guitar. Oh, you know what? I got to show you this other meme I did. Okay. I do have a gold guitar somewhere. I want to show you this meme because it's an Elvis meme. Sort of an Elvis meme. What do you think about this one, Rat?
What's your favorite Elvis song?
Oh boy.
In the chat, everybody, what's your favorite Elvis song?
I think one of my favorite Elvis songs, one of my favorites is Lover Doll. Lover Doll. So that's Peppy in Elvis, The Wonder of Q. You know, The Wonder of You. So I thought that was good. So that's that.
What's everybody's favorite Elvis song? Blue Suede Shoes. Mud Rabbit said Blue Suede
Lover
Shoes.
Doll. Blue Suede Shoes, Mud Rabbit, yeah. There's a little bit of a delay. That's why the chat's a little bit behind for what we see because we're, Burning Love, Lisa. That's a great song. Do a few bars of Lover Doll. Okay, well, I have to turn off this other music.
I'll tell you what my favorite one is. Suspicious Minds. I absolutely love that song. That's
a little less conversation. That's a good one. So Lover Doll, you want to hear that? It goes kind of like this. You're the cutest lover doll that I ever seen. Let me tell you, lover doll, you were meant for me. From the first time I last saw you, how I fell for your cuddly charms. Lover doll, I'm crazy for you. Let me rock you into my arms. There you go. Lover Doll. And if you want to see Elvis do that song, watch the movie King Creole. And he does that song in that movie. It's a great, great song. Sweet little song.
I don't know why they gave him crap for his movies. I actually liked his movies. I don't know why it was like they were crapping all over him.
Well, this one is considered to be his best movie because it was the movie he did before he went into the service. He had to get a 6-month deferral to finish the movie because they weren't sure if rock and roll music would be a lot around after he was out in 2 years. So he wanted
Sandy Sue said her bra just fell off. Listen to you. That's a real potent Elvis power right there, because that's exactly what used to happen at them concerts.
Yeah.
They be throwing the bras and stuff at him. It's good stuff.
You know what? I heard a story about Tom Jones's manager. So it was Tom Jones's manager who's trying to get some excitement into the act. So he paid some girls to throw underwear at Tom Jones at his concerts. And for a couple of the concerts, he paid him to do that. But after that, people just started
doing it on their own.
Yeah, they started doing their own. Yeah, it's kind of like
got 24 people watching. Everybody hit like on the. If you haven't hit like on his thing.
Yeah, and share it out. Share this out there, and let everyone else see this too. So, yeah. There's nothing funner than doing an Elvis show. I mean, if you got a good crowd.
And Chuck E. Cheese, come on, they used to do Elvis all the time. Chuck E. Cheese was like, maybe you didn't ever see that, but down in Florida, we had Chuck E. Cheese, and the animatronics used to always play Elvis songs, and I absolutely love. I used to go there. Mom used to take me there all the time. I used to love it. And there was a time that I thought Chuck E. Cheese was Elvis Presley when I was a kid. I was really.
Oh, you mean the Chuck E. Cheese guy would sing Elvis?
Yeah, he would do the dance and everything, like all the animatronics, the entire band. They would do like nothing but Elvis in there all the time. It was God, it was really, really cool. They had Chuck E. Cheese dressed up like him, had the collar all popped.
Interesting.
It was great. Mud Rabbit might remember that. I don't know if you went to Chuck E. Cheese down in South Florida there when they had the going on.
Mud Rabbit says Engelbert Humperdinck got a few panties thrown at him. Engelbert Humperdinck, that's not his real name. He changed it to that. Can you believe it? Why would you change your name to that? Engelbert Humperdinck? Come on. I mean, it's like a bad joke, right?
He wanted something complicated.
Unbelievable. Some artists don't have a choice. This is going to be your name. That's what happened to Elvis Costello. His name was Declan McManus, and they said, okay, we're going to give you a contract, but your name is going to be Elvis Costello. He goes, no way. Well, then you don't have a deal. He goes, really? Yeah. So, yeah. But he did an album called King of America, and he did the album with Elvis's old band. And during one of the jams, I think Burton, the guitar player, said, man, that felt like we were playing with the king again. And he went, that's it. I can't use the name anymore. And for that album, he wasn't listed as Elvis Costello. He was listed as Tiny Fingers of Dynamite. That was his name. But great album.
Did you get to see that guy, Chris Isaac, that came out about 15 years ago or whatever?
He was pretty good. Yeah. He was
amazing.
Yeah, he was a good guy. Yeah, and the Aha guy had a great voice too.
Mm-hmm.
And he got throat cancer.
That song, "Wicked Game." Didn't he add Elvis? Wasn't Elvis's daughter in the video?
Maybe.
I think she was.
Maybe. Yeah, it's really tragic that Elvis's grandson passed away just a couple of years ago. Recently.
Yeah.
Oh, Diane Rain says her daughter's 6th birthday party was at Chuck E. Cheese. I took my kids there too up here, but yeah, they didn't. I think they had some animatronics, but wasn't so elaborate.
Mud Rabbit, when you were there at the Chuck E. Cheese, were they still doing the Elvis songs? Was the animatronics still the Elvis?
There's a preacher that sounds like Elvis. Yes, there's a white-haired preacher that has a voice very similar to Elvis. And a lot of people think that it is Elvis, but I do not think that it is Elvis. His eyes are different, and he's a different height. He's shorter than Elvis. So Elvis would have had to have bone removed to be that guy. So I don't think so.
Oh, that sucks. So they quit doing the Elvis music, and and that was just a model. It wasn't Priscilla.
Oh, okay. I was almost in a Prince video. He needed an Elvis, and I worked for an Elvis for a tribute artist company. They had 13,
tell that story.
13 Elvises, and I was one of the 13 Elvises, and I got most of their work. I got like 90% of their work. And Prince called and said, hey, I am looking for an Elvis for a video. And they sent the video out and they said, we would recommend to Aaron. And he said, no, I don't want that guy. I don't want that one. He picked this other guy who was kind of chubby, but
maybe you're in too good of shape. That might have been why.
I was in too good a shape. And when I saw the video, he appeared dead in the bathroom. So that's I'm glad I wasn't in it actually.
Mm-hmm.
But Prince did an Elvis song. So that was pretty cool. Yeah. Lisa Marie and Presley did a duet where no one stands alone with Elvis, Cassandra said. Sopranos fan 11 says, Aaron, you're probably one of the best Elvises I've seen. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Appreciate that.
What if we found out that there's like a whole world where a bunch of aliens come from and they're like obsessed with Elvis?
I would guarantee
like another whole planet, and they'd be like, yeah, we listen to Elvis all the time over here, man. We freaking love it. And they had Elvis impersonators, these green men who dress up like Elvis on another planet.
Funny you should mention that because a British explorer or some kind of explorer came across an island. It was an island cut off from society. And he went on this island, and these people there were wearing Elvis t-shirts. They were slicking their hair back, like they had grease in their hair. And they had Elvis albums like tacked up on trees. And what happened was a box of memorabilia washed ashore. And they worshiped him like he was some kind of god. And this explorer tried to sing Elvis songs to show them. And they were like, looking at him all confused, like they'd never heard Elvis, but just by the image of him and all this paraphernalia, they worshiped him. So that's kind of like your space thing, but on an island.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It'd make for a good movie.
Yeah, it would.
So some people go to another planet, and then they find out like the whole planet is like obsessed with Elvis Presley, and like it becomes like a thing.
Well, our transmissions go out. Our transmissions are out there, so they're watching. They can pick them up if they have the
movie. That movie Contact by Carl Sagan. He wrote the script for that. That was that's what that was about. That our signal's getting pushed out into space, and then alien species get the signal and pick it up, which is bizarre because he was the first person to send a message out into space, which was in 1972. But yeah, that movie Contact was a great movie. Jodie Foster was so beautiful in that movie.
Yeah, that's a good movie. I like what Bernie Mendez said about the aliens, because he was one of the few people, one of I think only 3 or 4 people who could communicate with the extraterrestrials in the 60s and 70s for the government. And these extraterrestrials were one group, I can't remember which one it was. They were curious. They said, we're monitoring your transmissions and we will see a war, and then we'll go all around your planet. We won't find the war. Please explain this. And Bernie said, oh, those are movies. That's fiction. And they had never heard of fiction before. And some of their officers actually lost rank because they made contingency plans based on our transmissions. So isn't that weird?
Huh.
They'd never heard of, so think about it. So Captain Kirk and Godzilla might have saved the planet.
That's a misconception about Godzilla. Everybody thinks he's the bad guy, but Godzilla's really not that. They created Godzilla to the whole thing with the Godzilla thing was to because of the nuclear bombs and stuff.
Right. Yeah, something good that came of it. Yeah.
Yeah, but you look at it and you get scared and think it's a monster. He's coming to kill us all, but actually he's actually there to save us. Just get the hell out of his way.
Right. Got to save Tokyo again.
Yeah.
Skinny Bob. Yeah, Skinny Bob is something, man. Have you seen that Skinny Bob?
No, what's Skinny Bob?
Oh, you got to see Skinny Bob. He is an alien, and Bernie Mendez claims that this is an actual footage of an alien released by the KGB few years ago.
Is it the autopsy?
No, this one's alive, and they're checking his height, and
They're doing an interview with him?
no.
Okay, I haven't seen. Maybe I haven't seen.
I'll show you a still from it here. Let me see. Get back here. Okay, and maybe you'll know. Maybe you'll remember seeing the footage. But this is kind of what his head looked like. There it is.
Okay, yeah, I've seen that.
Skinny Bob. So that's an actual real alien. A real alien, according to Bernie Mendez. He knows him. He's spoken to him, and he said he's a really nice guy. And he's so nice that he's the only extraterrestrial that can come and go as he pleases. This is according to Bernie Mendez. So,
I mean, if you put a big hat on him, you wouldn't know. You really wouldn't know if it's actually a human or an alien. Anyhow,
yes, you would. You would
throw a hoodie. You throw a hoodie on him? No, not these days, man. With people with the big hair, you put a hoodie on him.
You're funny. You're funny.
It just looks like he's got big old sunglasses on. You can get away with it. You make a good movie.
Yeah.
You guys know what MUFON is? Which is
Mutual UFO Network.
Did you see the video where I actually went to MUFON's headquarters here in Cincinnati? Like I actually went there.
Oh, really?
I got a video where I went there after I went to Wright-Patterson Air Base. I went to Wright-Patterson Air Base and we actually showed there was actually anomalies when I went there with the 444, like all this stuff that's happened for 444.
Oh, yes, I did see that one. Yes.
And then I went to MUFON and I dropped off the 1972 list.
Oh, cool.
Right at their headquarters.
So I shared this picture. It's I kind of made
Nobody
this
cares.
thing. This is the guest I want to have on, Skinny Bob. So I put the message out to Skinny Bob since they are monitoring our airways. Come on the show, Skinny Bob. Get Zoom. You can do it. If Radex can do it, you can do it. But if you watch the footage of Skinny Bob is very intriguing. He blinks, so he does have eyelids. So they're not solid black, like they're just kind of sunken in there. And it's
Galaxy Quest historical records, yeah.
Yeah, so this was released by the KGB.
He needs a fashion consultant. Skinny Bob does. It's just not doing it.
But
you got to have an emblem or something.
You look at his body shape, and you know even if you put a hoodie on him, he does not have the the shoulder width of a human. His arm length is different. His head is different.
You have not been in the hood apparently lately.
Oh, yeah, I did see something funny. It was a cartoon. They said what modern teenagers look like their skeleton, and they show a skeleton of like the scrunched pants is like their whole body. It's so hilarious. Yeah, strange stuff. So that's the guest I want to have on is Skinny Bob. So come on, Skinny Bob. Give a call and you can be on the show. Just like Radex here. Just like Radex. So
I am Skinny Bob.
Maybe you are. You have a video out right now. What's the name of the video you have out right now?
The last one I just put out?
Yeah.
It's 1972. Oh geez, let me look it up. It's the 1972 proves the 9/11 time hack.
Okay.
Something like that.
Go ahead and put that in the chat so people can check that out. You got my permission. Big hair. Oh, have you heard of Big Hair Tsunami? That's a friend of the program here. Big Hair Tsunami. I think it's a great name. Big Hair Tsunami.
I'm not going to put a link in. I'm just going to post the name of it so you guys can check it out.
Okay.
It's undeniable evidence.
Go ahead.
9/11 was predicted from the 1972 time hack. All right, I'll see if I can post it. I don't think I can. Let me see what happens.
I think it'll let you. It'll probably let you.
You know, I have a much bigger video of that, which actually shows like all the news articles, all the newsreels, all the stuff on all of this evidence from the 9/11 1972 time hack, and YouTube struck it down. So I had to go put it on a different platform.
Oh.
And when I put it, and I'd never been on that platform before, and I just put it on there. I put it on there, and the views just shot up like out of nowhere. So
Really?
like obviously here, yeah, they're definitely suppressing. They're shadow banning a lot of my stuff over here. And when me and 1010 was on our way out, when we were out in Utah, we were talking to somebody and we were talking about my channel, and they pulled up my channel and there was like a whole bunch of videos missing. And she's like, wait a minute. She's like, you're missing a whole bunch of it. And they're like, and we know that this person doesn't have restrictions to watch my videos, but obviously you guys are not going to get to see all my videos anyhow, because they're shadow banning a bunch of my videos. So you only get to see what they're going to let you see, which is just very odd.
Wow. Yeah. The censorship is crazy. It's like China. It's like we're living in China. And that's what they're trying to get us used to. We just got to stand up and say, no, we're not going to.
1972, the first president to ever go to China was in 1972, Richard Nixon. And there's a video of him welcoming him to the New World Order, 1972. All that went down.
And that was the year of the rat, too.
The year of the rat. That's right.
What a coincidence. And your name happens to be Rat X. What a coincidence that is.
And 2020 was the year of the rat. And it's
I bet your mother knew that when she named you. I think I'll name him Rat X because it's
that's what she said.
And he'll probably be, very interested in the year he was born when he grows up. So I'll name him Rat X. I think that's probably what happened.
No, it's and no, I haven't posted on Telegram, but it's weird. What's funny, the lady from the NSA that brought us out to the out to Utah to find the portal, she kept trying to get me to do Telegram. And I just didn't do it. But that was the first time I actually even heard about Telegram.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm on Telegram, but I just, they can't figure out how to do much on there. I get things beep all the time on there, and I get messages from people I'm following. But I basically only follow.
Can you put videos on Telegram? Is that what is it like YouTube or something, or what is it?
I think it's kind of like Twitter in a way, but it's different.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Chronovisor did show 9/11 to Andrew Basiago. He did see it in 71 or 72 was when he saw that video of a plane hitting a twin tower. It was a loop, so it kept hitting it over and over and over again. It was a looped footage that his dad brought back from the future. And that was before the Twin Towers were even done being built. And they already knew what day and what time they were going to be hit, or one of them was going to get hit.
I can't say what the other, because it just seems like when you say the other platform, some of the other platforms, they strike your videos down. But it starts with bit. That's all I can tell you guys. Because I don't want his videos to get shot down. But yeah, if you go over there and you just type in RadX172, you'll see videos on there that you won't see on YouTube because they won't let me show them over here.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well,
and that has all the, like, you look at the 9/11 one, you'll see like all the like on here, I had to just do it where I just talk about it and I can't show all the evidence. On there, I was able to show all the evidence. It's actually like a 2-hour video because it was so long. There's so much stuff to it.
Yeah, Sopranos Fan 11 asked, you have to have a smartphone for Telegram? Question. Yeah, either your smartphone. Actually, I have it on my iPad. I have it on I have a little iPad that it works on.
Jesse Ventura doesn't have a cell phone.
I know.
Never have a cell phone.
Neither does my brother. Neither does my brother. Neither does my brother. And when I was out there recently with my family, and my brother gave myself and my mother a ride to my brother's daughter's son's birthday party, and we took his 66 Chevelle with, I think, with a 454, and It was like 96 degrees out, no air conditioning, and no seatbelts, And we were on the highway. That was kind of fun. Yeah.
You know, I miss the ashtrays in the cars. Like, why don't they put ashtrays in the cars anymore? I thought the ashtray was cool, man. It was a good place to keep your spare change. Now I have to find some other place to put my spare change. Now there's like the door rest there. There's no what if I want to smoke cigarettes in my car? Why do they take the option from me? Just put the damn thing in there. I don't smoke cigarettes, but maybe I want to smoke a cigarette. Well, now there's no ashtray in the car anymore.
Well, I just found out that in 1959, I believe, VWs had an option for a coffee maker that went right on your dashboard there to make yourself a cup of coffee in your car. I think that's pretty cool.
That is cool.
But hot coffee and driving a car, kind of dangerous, But
yeah, people do it all the time. People
That's
get people drive around hot coffee all the time in their car.
That's true. I mean, but I think this is before the no spill tops.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That definitely did change a lot for coffee drinkers.
Yeah.
Putting on the no spill tops.
Yeah.
I missed the old cars. I thought the old cars, I like the way they smelled. I like all the stuff about the older vehicles,
Everything was better in the past. Everything was better.
Not everything.
Everything. Okay, hear me out. Okay, these things were better. The way they picked up garbage was better. Because they used to have two guys in a truck. They'd pull up, they'd go to where your garbage was, take your cans, put them in the thing, put the cans back in the receptacle where they found them. And you don't have to get up and move the garbage around every garbage day. That was better. That was far better. I live on a block here where some of the houses are from the 60s. They have old mailboxes from the 60s. What these old mailboxes have is something that when you close it, there's like a little flag. So when the mailman opens it up and puts the mail in, the flag goes up. It's on a spring. It's automatic. So now you know when the mail went. You don't have to keep going out and checking and checking and checking. This is something they had back in the 50s and 60s.
Yeah, but you know what they didn't have? They didn't have remote controls for your TV. You had to get up and walk over to the damn TV every time you had to change the channel.
No. I was my dad's remote.
Oh, because you guys were rich. Not where I lived at. We didn't have remotes.
No. I'd be upstairs. My dad be downstairs watching TV. Hey, Aaron. Oh, Dad wants me. What, Dad? Change the channel.
Yeah. That sucked.
Okay.
And then at 12 o'clock at night, the TV would go off and you'd have have nothing but fuzz until the morning.
Yeah, I know it. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And if you watch that video, someone made a video of that signing off where they have the bouncing ball and you sing the national anthem. Well, someone slowed that down, and right before every letter came on, a different letter came on, and it said,
there was
trust the government.
Yeah, preemptive programming or they're programming people.
Yeah,
and you got to imagine that stuff was going on then. They're still doing it. They're not going to stop doing it. That's like people say about MK Ultra and they stopped because they got in trouble. It's like, no, they don't stop. They're still doing those things. You
can't stop mad scientists. They just keep going.
No, they're still going.
They're still going. Yeah.
You're just not aware of it until you're aware of it.
That's right. Well, Rat, you know what? I think we might have to wrap this whole thing up. These flags are wholesome. Okay, I think we should wrap this up because it's getting kind of late. It's 12:26 here.
It's 1:26 here. I'm popping meds for my guys in the morning already.
Yeah, we gotta let Radex get back to his job. We don't want to give him the wrong medication. Thank you so much for the super chat, Rat. You're an awesome guy, and thank you so much for calling in. You really spiced up the show, and thanks for all your good suggestions. Really appreciated your call. And everyone go and check and subscribe to RatX172 on YouTube and on BitChute, I guess. And we'll see you next time. I'm going to try and do a show every other day. I might do a show tomorrow because I'm getting my t-shirts tomorrow, so I might just have to. Yes, Elvis is leaving the building. And I want everyone to have a really great evening. Thanks again, Rat X. Thanks to everyone in the chat. Love you all and sending good vibes to everybody.
Take care, everybody. Enjoy the rest of the time that you have left.
Peace in.